Welcome back to Bass Fishing Dive Bar. We're your hosts, Adam Hinkle and Kurt Demerath. And today we've got Matt Stefan. He's a 2023 MLF Tackle Warehouse Invitational Champion on the Mississippi River in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and co-owner of Core Tackle. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me at the bar here.
Yeah. Glad you
on.
could make the trip over.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's like an hour.
Yeah.
It's not bad. As long as it's not snowing, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I did see some deer.
Yeah.
A handful of them. They gave me the willies. Come around some of those
blind
blind
is it out there right now?
It's actually really, really nice. It was 32 when I pulled in. That's the warmest it's probably been in
a month.
Literally.
Since we got that rain around Christmas.
Yeah.
Screw that.
It feels good. It's like not jacket weather. I can tell you that. It's sweatshirt weather.
Yeah, sweatshirt weather.
It was almost 80 here today.
He was laughing at me. He gets out of his truck. He comes up to the door, and I had to run out in the garage or something. And I'm out there in my just socks. And he's like, "You're barefoot outside." I'm like, "Yeah, it's nice out."
Well, it didn't surprise me that you were barefoot. It surprised me that you were barefoot in socks, basically walking on some snow. Like, now you probably have wet socks.
No.
You have footprints probably on the hardwood.
I doubt it.
That would not fly with my wife.
No.
Like, she comes in, if she sees the reflection of like little, either my footprints or I've got two little boys running around. Like, my one boy comes home every day from school with wet socks because they went out for recess and he's running around in his gym shoes. They get snow covered. He comes home with wet socks. The hardwoods get covered in his little sock footprints. And then Sarah comes home and yells at me for not having the floors clean.
It's the sand for us. We got a playground in the backyard with just giant sandbox, and dude, the sand is just half a shoe full of sand.
Yeah, it's sand when it's 82 degrees out. That sand is rough. Yeah. That's why I love the winters. We don't have to deal with that sand at all.
Until they put it on our road.
Yeah. That is true. Like, I've got that long gravel driveway, and at this point it's been pulverized into basically sand. And now we've got sand in the house too.
Can't ever keep anything clean.
That's not good on hardwood. Sand on hardwoods is no bueno.
No,
it's not good.
Oh no.
No.
We about to talk about sand the whole episode, or are we gonna get around to fishing?
Well, there's red sand, white
playground sand,
masonry sand, blow sand.
God, so much sand out there.
Lots of sand. I guess we could talk
about
fishing.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, I mean, the YouTube thing is one of those things where, so I do daily tip videos, and I tend to try to have about 2 weeks worth of videos stored up. And right now I'm pretty low. So I've been doing a lot more videos now, trying to get ahead because I go to Sam Rayburn next weekend for a week and a half. So I tend to not do that many videos when I'm on the road for tournaments. So I try to have them stored up before I leave. So I'm trying to catch up on that.
Yeah. This time of year, your tournaments are boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm doing those dual threat tournaments, and they popped up literally out of nowhere. So I was not really prepared for that. So that kind of threw me from a video standpoint. That put me behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that dual threat, because there's a lot of people I don't even think have heard of them.
So about the actual tournament itself. Yeah. So it's a high dollar team circuit. They originally came out I think they released the schedule last August. And I remember looking at the schedule. It was actually, they released it on the day I was at Leech Lake for a Bassmaster Open. And it was canceled pretty much like every other day of last year's Bass Opens, but it was canceled. So I was at a diner that I was eating with Miles Berghoff, Matt Pangrack, and then Blake Schroeder. So it was the house that I room with. And the schedule came out, and we were all sitting around talking about it and really liked how the schedule laid out. And at that point, I asked all 3 of them to be my team partner, and every one of them denied me. So I kind of forgot about it at that point. And then It was it was probably middle of January. Dual Threat reached out and said they had brought on a bunch of investors and they were looking for a few more anglers to come fish. Like they had apparently they had like 1,200 people reach out and want to do it. But as part of the investment deal, they felt like they needed some people that would make some content and get a little bit more exposure. Mm-hmm. And they had planned to remove the entry fees, which were $5,000, which was kind of the main reason we didn't do it in the first place, because it's just hard to fit in a lot more tournaments with the schedule you already have. And the payouts are good, but when you split it between two people, they were kind of what I would consider the same as like current tournaments, right? Like you're fishing them, maybe you make a little money, but in an ideal world, you're breaking even. Mm-hmm. And when we got the opportunity to do it with no entry fee, it was kind of a no-brainer. So we jumped in. And I got to tell you, like, it was a really fun tournament to fish. So we've had two of them. I missed the second one. So I fished the first one, and I did it by myself without my team partner, Miles, who already had stuff scheduled. And it felt like a big club tournament, like a really happy club tournament, or like a championship event. So when you qualify for a championship event, everyone is happy to be there because the risk is so much less, because generally there's no entry fee. And that's what this felt like. Like people were there to have a good time. There was no stress. You know, when you're talking 60 boats, almost everybody is what I would consider like high level tournament anglers. So AAAs or higher, professional level stuff. And we all know what the routine is. So even though I think being that it was their first tournament and they had some hiccups from a process standpoint, mm-hmm. it was really smooth because the anglers were very seasoned anglers. Mm-hmm. But, I look at it and I'm like, man, I really would like to see this succeed for a lot of different reasons. Selfishly being an angler in the circuit, you want to see it do well. But I really think that there could be some pressure put on the other organizations, on Bassmaster and Major League Fishing, if the Dual Threat does well, because then you're talking about a circuit that's free for the anglers from an entry fee standpoint. I would have to imagine that if you're, a BPT angler paying $6,000 or $7,000 per tournament right now in entry fee, they might put a little pressure on MLF, and same for Bassmaster. And if that happens, it's an improvement for the anglers, like as a whole. If there's a way to pay out better or reduce entry fees, and whether that happens or not, I don't know. But I mean, I think it's not a bad thing for the anglers in the sport when a high dollar circuit comes out and says we're taking away entry fees, but we're still paying $100,000 the first. Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of logistical things that have to, with sponsors and all that, to make that sustainable over time.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. It was weird because they didn't have like the sponsor promotions when we were there. Like they had their Dual Threat Fishing sign, mm-hmm. but that was it. There was no like very clear sponsor plugs. And it makes, I think most of us in the industry look at it and say, well, that's not right. Like every other organization runs their businesses based off of the sponsors, and it's very clearly like selling product. And part of me goes like, so you hear people in the social media world kind of criticizing it. Like there's no way this can succeed without the sponsor dollars. But there's also part of me that says, I get that. But the word on the street is that the other leagues are also suffering and they have sponsor dollars. So maybe that approach isn't actually right. And maybe Dual Threat's got more of a plan to go after high dollar investors or non-endemic sponsors. I've heard of a few things out there that they're trying to pursue from a media standpoint that would be completely different than anything the other leagues have done. And if they're able to secure that, I don't know that you need sponsors. And if they do secure it, the endemic sponsors will come anyways at that point.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I think it's in the best interest of the fishing community to want to see it succeed.
I think diversity matters, at all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it's just everything gets stale. Everybody gets stuck in this is how we've always done it.
It's a different approach too, because like it was pretty clear to us that they want the anglers to make the content. Like, so it was a surprise. The first tournament, they reached out, they sent an email out to all the anglers and said, hey, if you're going to live stream it, share the link with us. We'll put the link on our website to your page. So they actually were directing their website traffic to individual anglers' pages, which is completely different than what the other leagues are doing. I mean, MLF doesn't.
Yeah, it's genius.
And Bassmaster right now doesn't allow it unless the anglers make the content for Bassmaster's page, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a different approach. You know, whether it works or not, we'll wait to see.
I think that freedom of the sponsorship situation is what allows them to do that, though. I mean, because I can see Bassmaster being like, well, we don't want our anglers pulling traffic away from us.
Absolutely.
Because that will ultimately makes things look bad when they're going to negotiate sponsorships and dollars and all that stuff. So,
yeah, it's, you know, again, whether it's a strategic move on their part, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that, but I also think one thing I've recognized with core tackle, you know, the industry has its standard ways of doing things, but I also think that you can kind of bring a fresh approach and have success. So I think the fact, like you said, they don't have sponsor requirements that they need to follow. They've got, talking with the owners, there's definitely a different train of thought, and that could potentially lead to a different path, which may have success at the end of the road for them.
Yeah, I mean, don't know until someone tries it, right?
I will say, I really, I've watched several recap videos, like other anglers' YouTube stuff, and I have found it to be very enjoyable because you see the interaction. Yeah. You know, and like in one case, I've watched a lot of the stuff that Scott Martin put out with his daughter, Hillary. Yeah. And like you see the family aspect where like you truly feel like you can, as a parent, I feel Scott's happiness for his daughter when she's catching fish. Yeah. And then you watch some of the other ones where it's just like two buddies in the boat and they're like, you know, high-fiving and butt slapping. And it's like, you feel it, you know, and I think a lot of us have that team tournament background. Yeah. At least in the Midwest here, like that is the main thing. Like there's more individual stuff now than there was when I was fishing team events, which was really just BFLs right at that point. So for me, at least, it really resonates that, you know, it brings back those kind of the team aspect, and I just had a blast doing it. It's fun to have success with another person and be able to celebrate with them. And at the same time, it's nice to have somebody to comfort you during bad times too. Yeah. So it's a different feel. And I think you can feel that in the content that you see a lot of anglers putting out.
That's it. We talked about last time with Luke Clausen that the team events for MLF, how they've changed that, where it's two guys in one boat, and how, you know, especially me, where I pretty much don't watch any tournaments, haven't for a long time. Like watching that, like you got caught up in it. Even when I wasn't watching Luke, like you get caught up in it because they're comparing notes. This is what I'm seeing. What are you thinking? And that's what, like you said, that's what we're used to doing as team anglers, you know?
Yeah, my best memories were fishing team tournaments, having success in team tournaments. When you're fishing solo in a club tournament, you turn around, there's nobody to high five. Yeah. You're stoked for yourself, but you know, when you're high fiving, one of you's got the net in your hand with a giant in it, and you're high fiving, giving hugs. Those are my favorite moments.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so I think there's definitely a place in the sport for that. You know, a lot of it obviously comes down to how well they manage the overall organization and their business. And they've relayed to us that they have several years of funding already. And that this is not a 1-year ordeal, that this is, if you're fishing this year, you've been told you're going to probably have guaranteed 2 years. And then after 2 years, I think they start making cuts based on performance.
Yeah. I know, hopefully we're trying to get John and Keith on here to talk about it, because that was when I talked to John. He was like, oh, it'd be really awesome if we could talk about that and get that, because he was really gung-ho when I talked to him about fishing that with Keith, because, you know, those guys have fished together for forever.
They're team partners.
Right. you know? So to fish at that level where they're both, you know, fishing opposite each other's, you know, one's in BPT, one's over on bass, to be able to spend some time doing the old thing together. But
so who's your team partner?
Miles Berghoff. No, Miles Berghoff is my team partner. So
I was hoping you'd say that.
Just
Miles Berghoff.
Just like Kurt just said, you know, Miles and I are really good friends. We've had a lot of years fishing the same circuit.
Yeah.
And occasionally we'll kind of veer off too. So like, you know, we fished major league, the pro circuit or the invitationals together. Then I qualified for the Bass Pro Tour. And then when I did that, I think he went to the Bass Opens. And then I think last year we both fished the Bass Opens. This year he went back to Major League Fishing, and I'm still fishing Bass Opens. So to be able to fish team events, it's like now I actually get to see him again, you know, and he's a really good friend that we talk on a regular basis, and it would be weird not to see him in person as much. So, you know, it's a good opportunity to do that.
So you told us about Miles Berghoff. Tell us about Miles Berghoff.
Well, when he's not there, because I miss him so much, I bring with me Miles Berghoff, which is a stuffed teddy bear. He's got his own tournament jersey. He wears his own hat, and he likes to eat a lot. He keeps me company on the long drives. Sometimes he comes in the boat with me, and I like to make short little content clips with him.
The honey bun.
Yeah,
that honey.
He is a fan of honey buns. It's probably hard to explain without watching. So if somebody wants to go watch it, they can go to my Instagram page and see it. I've thought about making entire YouTube videos with just Miles Berghoff from like behind the scenes.
I want to see how you build a custom rod for Miles Berghoff.
Yeah, well, it would probably just be a
ice
cane pole or something. Yeah. I should build him his own rod. He's got to catch a few more fish because we did not do well at Okeechobee together. No, it's just a. It's just a fun. So the plan was to have him be in the boat the whole time, and then because I do like tournament recap videos, like where I take clips from the tournaments and show it on my YouTube channel, and I wanted to have him in the boat, so like when I swing one in, I'd be like, where were you with the net on that one, right? But we had such windy weather the entire tournament that it was like I brought him in the boat the one day, the last day of practice, and he was blowing all over. And being that Miles Berghoff is really Barry the bear, and it's my little 7-year-old's stuffed animal that he cherishes, the last thing I wanted to do is not bring back Miles Berghoff, or bring one back that was just like had fallen in the water and was filthy. So I had him in the boat the first day of the tournament, but he stayed in a compartment the whole time. And then I didn't bring him the rest of the time, but he probably will make an appearance. So the funny part with this is, so when I did it, you know, I got a lot of positive feedback on it, and Miles Berghoff, my real partner, was giving me a hard time about it. So he told me, because I missed this next tournament and Miles fished alone, he's like, I'm going to go get a Bridgeford summer sausage and just leave it on the seat the whole time and just talk to the sausage as if it's you. He was like, I was going to call him Matt Stefan the sausage. And I was like, I would have loved it if he had done that, but he didn't do it. He couldn't pull it together.
No. Pepperoni stick.
Miles Berghoff.
Pepperoni sticks.
Yeah, they make like 3-foot long ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Clausen,
Zip time to the
Clausen
sea.
probably has all of them.
Clausen is a big fan of the big sausage.
He didn't tell us that in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, he carries a case of sausages with him everywhere he goes.
He does. Every time I see him, he's like, here. And he just throws them in the boat.
Yeah, he's a sausage hound. He loves them. Big sausages, little sausages. He loves them all. He is a big supporter of the Bridgeford meats. Yeah. I miss that guy. I haven't got to see him in a while either.
That's because you weren't here when he was here, was he? Were you?
No, you asked me to come. He actually called me too and told me to come, but I was out of town. When was that? That was like November or December.
No.
I was somewhere.
It was September or August.
Yeah. Anyway, so now he's
around.
off to the NPFL. That's why it is a weird tournament world right now. It's like, guys that you've kind of fished with forever. Everyone is just scattered. It's like you dropped a bomb and everyone just went different directions.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you start dealing with
you gonna fish any
trails shrinking, trails going, we're going to reduce anglers and this and that.
Yeah. I mean, he actually turned his invite down to the BPT. Yeah.
He's going to be out there Adam's going to see him more than us. He's got to deal with him now.
I think he's fishing, is it BAM or one? He's fishing fishing one of the trails out there.
He said he's going to try and fish most of the WAN-Bass stuff. I was going to ask you going to come out west and fish anything this year?
I'd like to go out and fish the U.S. Open again. That's the last couple of years. It hasn't fallen on. It's had conflicts with my schedule. I also selfishly would like to see it go back to Lake Mead versus Mojave. I know a lot of people like the fishing and the quality of fish are a lot better, but there was something special about Mead, in my opinion. Like it's a beautiful place that it's just fun. I don't know how you feel about that. Maybe you like
he doesn't feel the same way at all.
Oh.
Not at all. Not
Kurt
at
is
all.
tired of hearing about Mead from me.
You're in
Mead
favor or against it? Yeah.
No, he's very much like
Mead is an absolutely special place. And to me, the U.S. Open is not the U.S. Open unless it's at Mead.
Yeah. So it's a different, for you guys out west, it truly is a Super Bowl. I don't have that same connection from a location standpoint, but I fished it 4 times, I think. And it would feel different for me to go anywhere outside of Mead too.
I think when you're, like I've never paid that much even to the West Coast scene, but like that's the one thing if you don't pay any attention to the West Coast scene, it's always U.S. Open on Mead. Like I bring it up all the time, and he's like, "It's not on Mead anymore." I forgot.
Well, it's so. And again, I haven't fished one on Mojave, so I don't know that it's a good venue or bad venue. I've talked to Billy Egan a lot, about it because he comes to like the Bridgeford team meetings, and like I know the setup at Mojave is supposed to be really good, like the way it's all set up. I don't even think that would feel like Las Vegas at that point because it's a pretty good distance away, and there was just something special like for us. Like so we were out there. Bridgeford used to have a team meeting, and that's one of the reasons why like the whole team was out there, and we had it the last couple of years. We were at the Hoover Dam Lodge. So it was a really nice facility where it was like we just had everything. It was like you go back and you had the whole team there, and I mean it was in a casino, so you go sit at a blackjack table. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a great location. Like everything was good about it, and I just feel like growing up as a kid, you always knew it as a Lake Mead tournament, and that's what it as this super tough tournament. I don't know how it's fishing right now, but for me, I think I cashed every year I was there, and I had the fish on one year to actually win it. Actually, the year I think you and I talked in the parking lot, that was the day that it was canceled that day, I think, right?
That was canceled that day.
Yeah.
You did really well in the tournament.
Yeah. I had like 12 or 13 pounds the first day. And then the second day we went out and I actually had the fish on to have won that tournament. And I think I ended up finishing like 15th because I only actually weighed 3 fish, I think. But, I know it as a Lake Mead tournament. And in those tournaments, it was like fishing was never great, but if you could catch a limit all 3 days, you cashed a check, right? And those limits were like 7 pounds, like not
and
huge
it's not
weight.
that way anymore.
Is it better now?
Not that way anymore at all. Oh, heck yeah. There's 17-pound bags being weighed almost every day. Well, day one. It goes down after that. Like I think 17 and a half was leading after day one, or day one was canceled. So day 2, 17 and a half. And then day 3, I want to say maybe a 15-pound bag was a big bag.
But that's at Mojave.
Consistently seeing those weights.
No, that's at Mead.
That's like
for
Mead Open.
That's a Lake Mead Open.
But what time of year is that one?
Yeah.
Is that earlier
That
in the
was
year?
September.
Oh, so same time. Roughly same time.
Yeah. Right before the US Open. So to me, it's not the same US Open. I fished the US Open at Mojave as a co-angler. And that was 2 years ago, I believe. And it's fun. I mean, I fished with Julius Mazie, and we had the biggest bag of the U.S. Open that year with a 23-pound bag of smallies. And I mean, in 45 minutes, we had 4 3/4 pounders in the boat, just like bang, 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 really quick. And it's fun, but it's not the same lake. Like, it's not the grind, you know. Mead is basically like, to me, it's almost like 4 separate lakes. You got the wash, you got the main basin. You can run all the way up to Overton into dirty water. You got Temple Bar. That's a long run all the way up to Greg's, and Greg's is different than Overton. So it's like you can fish 4 separate lakes pretty much in one day, and you can win it anywhere, doing anything.
Yeah. Anytime
and
you go to a body of water,
it's a
like that,
Scopers tournament.
Yeah, it is straight. Yeah, it is definitely a Scopers event. Is Mead still more largemouth dominated for those top end weights, or are the smallmouth getting better?
The smallmouth are getting better. There's a lot of 3 to 4 pound smallmouth being weighed in, but there's big largemouth. I mean, now you don't bring a 4 pounder to the scales expecting to get big fish. It used to be that if you got a 2.5, 3 pounder, you'd weigh it in just in case. If you don't have a 4 pounder, you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
There was an 8 pounder caught up in Overton last year.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one year I got a big bass because I think they were doing 3 big bass awards a day. I think back then
3 big bass awards a day. It's $1,000 a piece.
I think I won it with like a 3 1/4 that one year. I don't know. I really liked it. Like, that's just it's a cool place. I mean, the one year Clausen brought a little tin boat, and we took that sucker up the Colorado River. Gosh dang, we went so far up it. Like, I mean, it turned into like straight rapids. Like, you don't realize how much water comes down it, and it is like the chocolate, like the siltiest water you could imagine. And I mean, we were way up that river, and it was a blast. We never caught a bass up
but there was word that there was some pools up there with clear water with fish in them, right?
So there was one, man, we got up there. There was one little backwater pond that was just full of tules, super clear water. And if I remember correctly, Clausen had he thinks he had 1 bite, but both of us were just looking at it and we were like, how are there not bass here? I mean, it was beautiful, like just some of the most gorgeous looking water. And we fooled around in it for a while and never caught anything. But I find it hard to believe that there is not some stuff up there somewhere, except for the fact that it was just such fast current, like such a volume of muddy water that if they weren't in that backwater, I don't see them swimming up that river to find it like at any point. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Supposedly,
if you go up it far enough, like, I don't know, maybe it was just that year where it was that muddy. I don't know if it's always like that, but like at some point you got to get up to where it's like pristine Grand Canyon water. But man, where it was flowing into that Greg's Basin, and I mean, I don't know how many miles up it we went, but it was some of the muddiest water I've ever seen.
No, it's not typically that bad.
Yeah, no, it was like, I mean, it was just, you could just see the clouds of it. Like, you put your arm in it and pull it out, and it wasn't like just the hairs on your arm were sediment. Yeah. Your whole arm was sediment.
Nothing.
Yeah, at one point,
breathing in that.
At one point, we did get stuck, and Clausen jumped out to push us, and he literally sunk up to his waist in sediment. It was unbelievable. The boat was such a mess after that. I laughed the whole time. I actually probably have the video still.
It's his boat.
Oh, I know. I didn't. I was just laughing because he was like literally in quicksand, like sinking. Like I could see him. He was holding onto the boat and he was just getting lower and lower and lower. It was good. Yeah, at some point I'll get back. I'll fish that event again. It's just such a long drive, dude. I want to say it's like 30 hours drive time. I would drive.
That's a long way for you.
Stay overnight in Denver. The other issue that I ran into, so the first couple of years I fished it was a September event. The last couple of years it was October. Both years I hit snow either coming or going in the Rockies. And it was both times it was the first snow of the year. So it was kind of like there wasn't salt on the roads or anything. And I mean, you want to see white knuckle driving, go through some of that. So go through the Rockies with snow, towing a boat.
Like, drive through Greece, towing anything.
Greece?
Greece. Because that's what it's like on the road when there's no salt.
Oh, I thought you meant the country.
No.
I was like, when were you in Greece?
No.
World traveler.
No.
That's what it was like.
Towing my bass boat.
I just remember going down some of those hills, and like every time I'd go around a turn or down a hill, I was constantly looking for the truck runaway.
Yeah.
Just to be like, just in case. And there were several times where it was like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And it wasn't that much snow, but it was enough to leave slush on the roads.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, I don't want to say that creates the decision, but with it being a little later in the year, that was definitely a concern.
Yeah. It didn't used to be in September. I think it was always in July. And that's what made part of that tournament so hard is, you're battling 120-degree heat every single day. And it's not that way anymore. It's been comfortable the last couple times I was there. Low 100 down into the 80s sometimes.
I mean, that was one thing. The September events were always smoking hot, and the October ones were, they were bearable. The September ones were still like 100 degrees every day. And
especially when you're coming from here and in September, it might be 50.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot, but it's a dry heat, though.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah, so it's not that bad.
Not as bad. It's just our cold. We got a dry cold. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got enough Modelo's in the boat, it's not that bad.
I just remember like every time I went there too, it's a different lake every time. Like, it would be like 15 feet different in whatever from a depth standpoint. So it was like, if you ever thought, for me at least, every time I went back, there was not even a thought of catching them in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never been on the same bite twice on that lake. It's always something different. One year the wash was the deal, and that's when I think that was the year you and I talked, was when Bub won it in the wash, right?
Yep, he won it there. Yep.
And that was the deal. I found that same thing. He was just a couple coves over, and I went back last year, and it's my roommate got second place in the wash, but it was a totally different deal. He was fishing it different than no one ever fishes mead the way he was fishing last year. He was throwing a Senko in shade pockets all day long. Every shade pocket he could find as the sun would shift, he'd go and fish over on one side, sun would shift, he'd go fish on the other side, and that's all he did the whole tournament basically. And he cranked a little bit, caught a couple fish cranking, but it looked like the wash looked like crap from what I heard from everybody else, and I thought the same thing. It didn't look very good at all, and he found a totally different deal that nobody was doing.
So guys don't do that. Like that's my jam when I go there. That's all I do is look for shade.
Not pitching shallow.
Oh,
are you talking about like pitching shade pockets shallow and like rock crevices and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, because it's more of like a deeper deal, like a shelf or something. The shade side of a shelf.
Well, so
I know is shade fishing over there for the most part.
I mean, I would fish anything I could visually see that was shade. In some cases, I might be fishing a boulder in the middle of a pocket in 12 feet of water where you could see the top of the boulder, but it's still, the fish was always on the shade side. I was just fishing. I mean, I don't know that place well enough. I would just run into a pocket and put the trolling motor on high until I saw a black spot, basically, right? Like a shade spot, and just hit it and go. I mean, to me,
You just
it was
run
very,
that pattern all day.
yeah. And it, it was one of those things where it was all just based on sun position. And, depending on what time of the day it was, I'd be on certain parts of the lake or certain sides of the lake looking for more likely spots. Cause I didn't necessarily want, like a cove that was completely shaded either. Right. Like I wanted the fish to be positioned in a spot the size of
right
there.
Table.
And
yeah,
it felt natural to me because it's really clear water. Smallmouth up here do the same thing.
Yeah.
You find a rock on a flat, you fish the shade side.
Even a steep enough drop off,
Yeah, exactly. And in some cases it was kind of like stair step rock. In other cases it was a single boulder. In some cases it was a crevice in a wall or something, but it was always shade. And I'll tell you what, the quality of fish was generally much better. Like for me, at least. I mean, that was like, I would just take a jig and go fish enough. And when I got bit, it was generally a quality largemouth. Quality for that.
I have found the same thing.
2 pound. Yeah.
Yeah. And like when I went out in practice, I went with a couple high school buddies of mine. I think it was in August. And almost every 4 pound plus largemouth we caught was in shade. And we caught a bunch of them. That was one of the best trips I've ever had at that place. I can't tell you how many 3+ pound fish we caught at that place in August.
Does it still have a lot of grass in it? Like the last time I was there, there were a lot of coves with really deep, stringy grass. Do they get in that stuff good? I've never had a good day fishing it.
So in August, it was hard for me to find good grass in like the pre-practice, if you want to call it that. I was just getting familiar with the lake again because it was 15 feet lower than the previous trip. And by the time the tournament rolled around, I started finding better grass clumps in 15 to 20 foot. And that's where I found my fish. And it was good, crisp, that pokey grass. I don't even know what it's not. It's not hydrilla.
No, it's not. It's almost like hydrilla, but without the leaves. It's stringy.
Yeah, it's stringy and pokey.
Yeah.
Is it like that? Is it like that? What I call running grass on the river? No,
it's funny because every time I just remember always commenting, like when I'd pull it up, I was like, everything in the desert has spikes. Like and the grass in the lake was the same way. It's like scratchy. It's desert grass. I don't know what to say, but yeah, it's a cool place. Like the other thing about it that I love, and this is actually the biggest thing I love about it, and this is one thing I always tell Billy when I talk to him, the excitement level by the anglers is amazing. Like the first time I was at one, I was blown away because I fished a lot of Forest Wood Cups, fished a lot of championships. And you walk into those rooms and the anglers all kind of like, we all think we're the best angler out there, right? So there's always this like kind of a little attitude, I'd say, cockiness. Mm-hmm. And at the US Open, I mean, they're having the meeting and guys are like hooting and hollering. Like, I mean, it's like there's an excitement level just to be there. Like it feels like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's a different feeling than any other tournament I've fished. And I love the energy around it.
Do you think some of that has to do with the format of the Pro-Am, where it's combined weight for the boat?
I think it has more to do with the fact that everyone in that room views that tournament as their championship. Mm-hmm. And I think I think there's something to be said for everyone. Basically, it felt like everyone kind of knew everyone, mm-hmm. right? Like I'm sure there's like groups of people, but yeah, it's like it almost is like, these 30 guys over here are probably a club somewhere. Those 20 guys over there, know each other from some club or whatever. And, so like the meeting would be taking place and guys would be cracking jokes and like, the whole room would be laughing. Like it just was a very good energy, which is I've never seen at a professional level event. Like I honestly, like going back to Dual Threat, I felt it more at Dual Threat. It had a similar feeling to like the US Open. And I think that's something special about it. When everyone at that tournament views it as a high level tournament that you want to win, but at the same time, there's a friendship aspect to it, right? Where like people are just happy to be there. I'm sure there's guys there that probably have no, they know they're not going to win it, but it's like, it's a vacation for them. So they're there to have fun. And it's different. I don't know how to say it, but it was a very fun, as an angler, it was really fun to fish. And maybe part of it for me too was I had zero expectations. Like I was just there to have a good time too. But you could feel like the majority of the people in that room were there to have a good time. And I wonder if that's, with it being a Mojave now, does it have that same feel? Because it used to take place at what was the casino it was at?
Was it Sunset?
I think it was Sunset. Yeah, is where it was at a lot.
Station.
It just Sunset Station. That was it. It just seemed like everyone was having a good time.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think back. It sort of had the same feel, but I don't think quite like Mead. Honestly, because it's not in Vegas.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it.
It's,
you're driving, you're towing your boat in the morning, and the Vegas skyline is right there, right? Like, it's just weird. I
it's
love
unique.
it.
It's different.
Yeah, it
is. Well, now that we've gotten completely off topic of what we intended on, it kind of always seems like we go this way.
Yeah.
We planned on talking about social media stuff and influencing and YouTube, and we started off that way.
Yeah.
We want to get back to that.
Yeah. Tell us how you got into
since
it.
Kurt's heard enough about Lake Mead.
So I mean, I am not one to want the attention, right? So like social media to me is actually like one of the problems with our society. The issue I have is it's also a huge part of my career. Like, every company out there wants you to do it. So I was pretty late to the game on it, actually. I think I was probably 4 or 5 years into fishing the FLW tour without having a Facebook page or anything. And Kurt with Dirty Jigs was, like probably my first actual sponsor within the company. You used to harp on me quite a bit about it. Shortly after Dirty Jigs, I got with Bridgeford. Bridgeford Foods was like, you got to have it. You got to have it. So I did it, but it was not like,
you just did Facebook posts and wasn't.
Yeah, it was not anything major. It was like, here's a picture of a Canterbury flipping jig.
Yeah.
Here's a bass I caught. Like, and every time I come over, Kurt would be like, you need to make short tips. You show people how to tie a knot. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like that's not me. I don't want the attention. I always want to be the angler. I always wanted to prove myself fishing with the idea that sponsors would come because of my fishing performance. And as much as I think that's how we'd all like it to happen, it's not really generally how it happens from what I've seen. But really, like the biggest thing with respect to my YouTube was we had, like we were talking about, the Bridgeford team meetings that we had several times in Vegas at the US Open. We had a team meeting at Table Rock Lake. And at that team meeting, so this would have been probably in 2019, 18 maybe, they recommended that they wanted all of us to start a YouTube page. And so at that point, I mean, it was basically the same team we have now. So, I mean, Randy Blockett, myself, Luke Clausen, Joey Reeve. I think Jim Moyna was on the team at that point.
I think so.
I'm probably leaving somebody out too. Like Brian Partak's on it now. He may have been a co-angler at the time as part of the Bridgeford team. Anyways, the point being, they wanted us to do it because their marketing team had said that they had seen a lot of good momentum in YouTube. And they kind of, really said, hey, if we can all get it up off the ground and we can get enough subscribers for each angler, we could probably put together like our own Bridgeford fishing content. Maybe we could have our own challenges, our own Bridgeford team page. And the reality is, you know, they're kind of a major lifeline for me in the fishing world. So at that point, even, I mean, still to this day, if they tell me to do something, I'm doing it. Right. So at that meeting, I was like, well, I think I had started doing a few tournament recaps, but nothing major. And at that meeting, Randy Block had been doing it for a year or so. And he's like, man, I make a couple $100 a month. And I was like, well, I would be happy paying my phone bill off, right? Like make a little money doing it. And I just started, at that point, I was like, well, I'll do a tip video a day. And here we are, I don't know, 3,000 videos later or something like that, straight without missing a day. Mm-hmm. I've grown nice and steadily and slowly, but it's been the best thing I've done for my brand. I've reached way more people doing it through social media than I have my fishing. And I would argue my fishing has been pretty successful as well. But, you know, the reality is the social media stuff has actually been way more lucrative as well as productive for building the personal brand.
I think you connect with the anglers. I hate to call them fans, but you connect more with the anglers when you create content for them.
I mean, so my stuff is not what I would consider entertaining.
Right.
There are times it might be entertaining, but it's usually me making fun of myself. Like it's like something happens, right? Like I'll be filming and a squirrel falls out of the tree and lands in the water next to me. Like things like that have happened, but I really try to keep it more educational. Because at this point in my career, early on, I was always like a secretive guy. Like if I felt like I had something that nobody else had, it was my advantage and I wasn't going to share it. Like now that I've got kids, now that like I've gone from the corporate world to making a career and a living fishing, which is like, I feel so fortunate to do that. And I truly believe if I can help people catch fish, that'll want them to continue to engage in the sport. Mm-hmm. Like I think fishing is fun, but if you catch one fish, you're more likely to go back and do it again. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with the videos I make, if I can help people catch a few fish, then I feel like I've done my job. And as a steward of the sport, you know, that's why my stuff is educational versus like the gossip. I'm not thick-skinned. I don't like the negative feedback, and I don't want to put myself out there from a drama standpoint. So I really just kind of focus, even though I know I'm not going to get the views that other people would get, I'd rather just focus on stuff that might have more longevity to it. You know, I've done a lot of videos that when they came out were, you know, you get a couple hundred views and you're like, well, that was a rod build video or something. And, you know, 5 years later, it's like they have 100,000 views on it because they're helpful videos that people search on a regular basis. So even though they weren't like this big trendy video, it's like, you know, in the last 5 years, a lot of people have Googled, how do you build a fishing rod?
Yeah.
And it's been helpful from that standpoint. So, you know, it's you know, like I said, I'm not one. It's always a weird thing for me if I'm like at a gas station and somebody stops me and they're like, hey, you know, love your stuff. And I'm like almost embarrassed by it because I feel like how it's not high quality. There's not bombs going off and crazy music and, you know, whatever. It's just low quality, but it definitely relates. I mean, that's one thing I found is a lot of people, I think, appreciate the fact that I think they can tell I'm just a normal dude.
It's just candid.
Yeah, it's just nothing super special to it, but it seems to have worked. And at this point, the YouTube stuff is kind of what I would call the glue to my career. I mean, you know, I still fish a bunch of tournaments. I got a tackle company. I have the sponsors and do all that, but I can kind of achieve with each YouTube video I put out, I can cover one of those as well. So it's been a really good thing. I honestly wish I had taken your advice so much sooner, because Kurt really I'd come over, we'd talk jigs, and Kurt would always be like, you know, just put some videos out. Like, you know, and I'd be like, what do you think I should do it on? And something basic. How do you trim a skirt? Like things like that. And
the stuff that I would get asked all the time.
I know. And had I started that like 3 years earlier, like that would have been such a big thing for me. Because I mean, that is one thing I think right now. If you start with any content, I don't think it's nearly as easy. And I don't think it was easy when I started, but I was in early enough where I was still kind of ahead of the curve. And now you see all of the people that are trying to make YouTube content and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all these things. And to me, from the outside looking in, it looks like it would be much more difficult to start and to grow, which
I still think a lot of people miss the mark though. I remember sitting and showing you how to wrap a rod guide and us having this conversation. And I'm like, you're not making videos for the guy you fish a tournament against.
Yeah.
You're making videos for the guy that's starting to fish. We don't think about tying a polymer knot. We don't think about how to tie a snell knot. We just do it. That's the stuff that so many people miss in when they start creating content.
100% agree. Because one thing I've noticed with my content, and I'll do tournament recaps for each tournament and do all kinds of tournament stuff. That is the stuff that does not get the views. Yeah. That is the stuff where I get comments from people that are like, I mean, I root for you because I like you. And, if anyone's going to win, I'd rather it be you. But those aren't the videos that I enjoy. And I do it because I enjoy it. Honestly, I make a lot of the tournament stuff for myself because I can go back and watch it 3 years later when I go back to Sam Rayburn Lake, and it like puts me right back on the lake, and I'm like, I did that. So it's more for myself than anything. But the viewership out there is already small when you look at just fishing in general, especially bass fishing. But when you break that down to tournament fishing, you've just gone from like whatever the bass fishing market is, you're probably 3%. I mean, it's like tournament fishing is even a much smaller niche. And if you concentrate just on that, you're not reaching nearly as many people. Yeah. And the reality is the rest of the viewers are the ones that want to know, how do you trim a skirt? Why do you use 10-pound fluorocarbon instead of monofilament? Like basic stuff. But again, that goes back to the educational side. So those are the people that are interested in fishing, don't really know how to go about it. But if you can give them that tip that gets them to catch a few more, 10 years down the road, they might be a tournament fisherman. Or maybe they're taking their kids fishing. And like in today's day and age, man, I feel like get the kids outdoors. They don't have to be fishing. Get them on a sandbar, get them running around, finding clams, catching frogs. Like that's stuff that grounds you. And I think that that's just as important these days as trying to figure out how to win a tournament.
Oh, yeah.
See, my favorite videos of yours are the ones when you go way back. Like one of the ones that I can remember, you talked about the old chug bug. And it made me go on eBay and buy an old chug bug. And I tied the thing on over at Mead. I tied the thing on at Mead on the wrong rod, made a cast. It didn't cast for shit, and I clipped it right off. and I put a evergreen back on and cast it a mile, and it'll come back out. You just got to find the right rod. But another one was like the pork frog on the back of the chatterbait.
Dude, that's good. Have you had
half the young guys? I haven't pulled the pork frogs out, and I need to. But like half the young guys fishing now don't even know what a pork frog is.
Yeah,
I can't believe that we see the pork frog again.
Dude, they're expensive.
I know they are. But my history.
My dad's got so many of the old Strike King ones.
Oh,
he's got tubs of them.
Mint. Those things are worth a mint.
I know.
Yeah, I love them. I'm telling you, they are one of the best chatterbait trailers you can use. It's just in the water. It's just cool to look too, because the chatterbait's doing its thing, and the pork frog on the back, because it's flat, is just going. It's pretty cool looking. It's a completely different look to a vibrating jig. Yeah, that's one thing that I see with Core Tackle now. So much of sales are marketing, and it's like it's always the newest, latest, greatest thing. But the reality is there are some old baits that are just good. Like, and I mean, I love to go back through my old tackle, and a lot of times a lot of times those videos come from me like getting ready for a tournament, and I'm like, oh man, I got to get that chug bug out, right? Or I need something, and then I start digging through tackle, and it's like, I forgot I had these.
I can't believe he's not familiar with the chug bug. I have a rod specifically for chug bug. Like it never has another.
It was never a thing here. It was always the Rico or a spook.
It was never a thing. Like what about the song? Oh, the spit and pop and walking thing they call the chug bug.
We all
Oh
saw
my God.
it.
I got a t-shirt that says it on there. Like that was my childhood, was the chug bug. That was just a killer bait.
Do you guys have a mayfly hatch out there?
No.
Oh man. You're missing the boat.
No.
If you
Up in the mountains, but no.
If you don't have a black chug bug during the mayfly hatch, you're gonna be real mad at your buddy when he only has one.
I just think there's a special sound to that bait that I think can be really good at times.
Especially if you got the original.
It is different.
That has the plastic that they can't use anymore.
I guess that's what I'm referring to when I say chug bug. It's kind of, I feel that like when I talk about wiggle warts, I'm talking about
because the EPA made some rules. They can't use that plastic. That's why the plastic.
Oh, is that what changed?
That's what happened. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So have you heard? Not we're probably getting off subject again. I've heard that how there's a lot of the hooks now have like that Teflon coating.
Yeah.
Or like some, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know which hook specifically. I don't know
basically
if it's like the Aaron Martin ones.
Basically anything that has that nano coating or that.
Yeah. So is that going to be banned?
The last I heard, that sort of became a non-starter because it's all this stuff. It comes down to that stuff is in all of our electronics and the wiring and the insulation around your wiring. Marcus was telling me about it because it was affecting his industry, conveyors. It was affecting the electrical industry. I mean, it was going to affect fluorocarbon fishing line. It was going to affect a lot of stuff.
So it's not going to happen?
I have not heard anything about it in like 6 months. But yeah, there was people worried about it for a while because like Gamakatsu had just came out with all that stuff. And it's like, bam. Yep. You ain't gonna be able to use them forever materials or whatever they call them.
Yeah. I forget the actual name of the. I'm not a chemist,
but yeah, it was gonna affect soft plastics to a point, line hooks.
Yeah, I've talked with some hooks.
Which hooks were easy. You just go back to black nickel.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people out there right now that if it doesn't feel slick, they don't want it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
set the hook
side
harder.
topic.
Set the hook harder.
It's the only troubles I use anymore for the most part. G Finesse and the new Rapala one. Yeah. The VMC one. The red line, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know it's like peptides or something. It's the forever chemical.
It's a forever chemical. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about it in a while. That's interesting. Should remind me I could make a text and find out. It's a little too late for that tonight, but yeah. Well, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff we're not even thinking about that it would affect.
I mean, my understanding is it's used in like making tons and tons of stuff. So I don't know how it would be enforced. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's just in the process of making the material or if it can leach off, if it's on the hooks, if it leaches off, and that's the problem. I don't know enough about it. I just heard some rumblings. I haven't heard
just
about
never
it for
deteriorate.
months,
so it was explained to me that the hook could rust completely away from that coating. And that coating would still be left there intact. And then that breaks down and never, like it falls apart, but the particulates never actually truly go away. But, it's like Marcus and Adam and I were talking yesterday, well, we got to get rid of natural gas and LP and all our stoves got to be electric. That was a big to-do here a year or two ago, and that all got, let's wait a minute here.
That's my industry. And I'll tell you right now, it's never going to happen. I see how much natural gas is used on a daily basis, and it's not going away.
Is that the whole electric car thing where there's just not enough energy to actually sustain the electric cars?
Well, not only that, going to your electric cars. What's powering your electric cars when you pull into a parking lot? Not at home. A charging station, which is powered by diesel.
Are they still doing that in California? Isn't there like 20,
it's
30
not, it's
or
not
something?
as huge of a push. It's not as huge of a push, but it's there's no. They're not trying to kill it by 2030 anymore. That's out of the question. Like where I'm at, I'm in a huge Navy port town, and I was telling Kurt and Marcus this the other day. We've got, I think it's an 8-inch pipeline going down into the Navy bases that's feeding two carriers. And the amount of gas that goes into those carriers, I won't tell you what the guy told me the monthly bill was, but he couldn't tell me exactly, but he gave me a roundabout number, and it's unbelievable. It's not going away.
Imagine an 8-inch.
And that's not to mention your
natural gas continuously pushing.
That's a big pipe.
at 50 pounds of pressure.
Yeah.
And that's just for 2 aircraft carriers. And that's not mentioning your restaurants.
Those are moving cities. Those are huge.
It's not going away.
Yeah.
But you're getting off topic again.
Yeah.
As we always do.
It wouldn't be a dive bar if we didn't solve all the world's problems.
Right. I don't think we're getting into rod building tonight.
Well, so talk
we'll
to us
save
about
that for
Port
another
Tackle
one.
a little bit. So that came about after, right about the end of, I guess, me owning Dirty Jigs Tackle, or right after I sold.
What year did you sell? We started.
Well, it was 3 years ago. This last October 1st.
Yeah, so we started incorporated December 15th, 2022.
Yeah,
so we're at 3 years right now, a little over. Yeah, that was a side project that's gotten out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was simply so the other owner of Core Tackle with me is Johnny Schultz. He's Fish the Moment is his YouTube channel, and I was doing some content for him on other stuff, and we became good friends, but we started talking fishing all the time, just like we would, you bounce ideas off. And there was one day we were talking about swim bait heads, and I don't remember if he was saying what he thought, like he had this idea, or if I was saying it, but whoever said it at the next, the other guy's like, I had that same thought. And then we kind of like drew one out, and we were like, I wonder how would you even go about making these? I may have called you and asked, because I think you may have said, contact Cast even.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we kind of drew it out, and we were like, oh, that'd be cool. And so we work with Cast Industries down in Springfield, Illinois, and we got the design put together, and Johnny's got a big YouTube channel, and I've got a growing channel that's not as big as his, but we were like, maybe we could make some of these for ourselves, but we could cover the cost of the mold by selling some. So we made a real rudimentary website, and while we were putting that together, I was playing around with hover strolling, and I was catching a ton of fish doing it. And like original hover strolling was taking a 90-degree jig head, putting it into a worm, and then taking a nail weight and putting it into the head of the worm, or a light nail weight, and you get this gliding motion. And I was catching a ton of fish. But every time I catch a fish, because it was just a 90-degree jig hook, the worm would tear off or I'd lose the nail weight. So at the end of the day, I went through 4 or 5 packs of flatworms, which at the time were like $20 a pack. I went through a whole ton of tungsten nail weights, and I was like, man, I caught them, but I lost so many. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, why don't I just connect the nail weight to the hook? And I was like, this doesn't seem like this would be a big issue. So I actually made a bunch rudimentary, took them out and fished with them. And I was like, I got the same action. I was catching the fish, but I wasn't losing nearly as many worms, or there was no nail weight to lose. So I was talking to Johnny one day about the swim bait head, which is what we call our tush, the ultimate swim bait head. And I was like, man, I rigged up this thing for hover strolling. And I was like, I think we should have this made too. And he's like, well, let's go for that. So we actually had that done and released the hover rig before we did the ultimate swim bait head. And I don't remember how many we had made. It wasn't that many, but I did a video on it to say that, I showed catching fish and put it out, and within a couple hours we sold everything, like, through our website. And it was just like, oh man. And at that point, I remember talking to Johnny. I'm like, well, should we turn off, like, should we make it sold out, or should we just leave it open and take orders and back order it? And we're like, oh, we could probably have them in a couple of weeks. Well, that was pretty naive of us, because Cass is a big company, and we were ordering in such small quantity that when I called them up, I'm like, we're back ordered. We need more of these. They're like, and back to the end of the line, buddy. So we ended up waiting like 6 weeks, but we took a bunch of orders, and we let people know they were back ordered, but everyone wanted them. And so we sold a pile of hover rigs. We actually started the patent process. We got the design patent on it. We're in the middle of getting the utility patent. Came out with the tush shortly after, and here we are 3.5 years later, and rolling out a bunch of stuff. Got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline too.
Yeah, I talked to Cast Industries today. I told Clayton, if there's anything in there for core tackle, you push that on the back line, you put mine in front of.
That's not nice.
I pulled some weight and said, they're dealing with you because I sent them, so I get put to the head of the line.
I'll let you get a mold in once in a while. No,
I don't even need molds. I just need CAD drawings done for all terrain.
Yeah, that's probably why he's a little slow on getting the drawings I need right now. Now I'll call him up and give him.
I just talked to him today, so no.
Put Kurt to the back of the line. No, it's been
Such
great.
A great friend.
It's been one of those things where our intention was never to start a tackle company, which probably has helped us a lot, because we didn't start it, like, it wasn't our income, right? So like everything we made from it went right back into buying more inventory. It's on it. Honestly, like you sell a pack, the couple dollars you make from that, part of that goes back to inventory, part of that goes to tax. And then you sell 2 packs, part of that goes to buying 3 more packs and going to sales tax, or not sales tax, but like income tax. So I wouldn't say it's like really lucrative, but we've built it so there's equity in it. And, we're making a little bit of money each, but because it's not been our sole source of income, we've really just invested back into the company.
You can let it grow.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's been really what's benefited us the most. And we've been fortunate with the design work that we've done. I think, we're filling innovation needs. It's not necessarily product that's right for everybody, but I think a lot of the product kind of sells itself. And if it hits the right person, they see it and they're like, oh, I could use that here, or I could use that there. And I
just had a guy today ask me about the dice hook or whatever. You got something with the dice hook?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, he asked me, he specifically mentioned, he's like, when you see Matt, ask him about the dice hook. That looks pretty legit. So apparently it's out there.
No, it shouldn't be out there yet. It'll be out soon, a couple of weeks, hopefully. I would say probably end of the month. But yeah, we've got something I actually am really excited about, because that's the thing. Like, so when the dice came out, I had those so early, the OSP ones. And I fished with them, and I clearly did not even know how to use them, but I never had a bite with them. And I put them on the back burner until really like last August. And I started playing around with a bunch of the different ones, whether it's the Koike or the G-Crack, the Strike King Tumbleweed. Like, there's a lot of them now that I play around with. But man, I had some amazing days on smallmouth, amazing days for largemouth. And it's interesting too, because now with forward facing sonar, and everyone thinks our baits are forward facing sonar related, but they're not really. No, in my eyes,
they were both predating.
They really were. Like, if you look at the hover rig, the hover strolling technique has been around forever. Like, it was popular before that. But the point what I'm getting at with the fish and the dice stuff, in my eyes, like, watching the fish react, they reacted different. Like, much more aggressive, I felt like. And I've just played, I just really put it in my hands, and I was like, man, I think there really is something here. Because I'd be talking to guys like Drew Gill and guys that were really catching them good, and they're like, it's special. Like there's something special. Whether that lasts, I don't know. But right now, I clearly feel like the fish haven't seen it, and I just feel like there's not a real good hook presentation for it, and that's what we work towards. And I feel like we've come up with something that is really good. Like my partner, I wish
this is coming out in like what 4 weeks. This will get put out.
Yeah, about.
Okay. Well, timing should be about right, so that's perfect. But so Johnny was out. Like I wish, this is one thing I hate about living up north is I can't go out and just like test products. But Johnny was out, and we've narrowed it down to 2 designs, and we're trying to figure out which one we like better. So we're like, well, let's see if one has a better hookup ratio. And he went out. I mean, literally in 5 hours of fishing, he caught, I think he had 50 bass. He caught 25 on each. Hookups were the same. It was like 85 to 90%. Like, and the ones he lost were all 10 to 12 inches, like little ones. So it's almost like at that point, you don't even know if they had the whole thing in their mouth. But the point that I'm getting at is like, I mean, he's saying the same thing. He's like, these fish are reacting different. I mean, it's like you throw it out there, and I think a lot of people, so I didn't know how to use it at first. Like I was fishing it, putting it on a drop shot, fishing it really slow, holding it. I would highly recommend to fish it more like a jerkbait. If you really snap it hard, fish it more like a jerkbait, the fish react to it completely different. And, the question I have is, will this last for 2 years, 3 years? Will it be a mainstay bait like, a soft stick worm, and 10 years from now, we're still throwing them? I don't know. I don't have that answer, but I think I've seen enough examples myself. I've seen it on TV. I mean, I remember watching, I think it was the Tackle Warehouse Invitational Championship on lacrosse last year. And I mean, there were guys fishing it in the Black River around other guys. And I mean, they were catching, like literally the camera kept cutting to them. And it was like, there's one, dunk, there's one, dunk. And other guys in the Black River are fishing around, not catching anything. And there's something to it. I think personally, the fish will catch on to it. But I also think what it's done is it's opened up the idea that we can get really creative with baits. And I think we're going to see some crazy soft plastic stuff come down.
That's what you see out of Japan all the time. Is they're really pushing the envelope. To me, it's like I've seen some footage and I'm like, that sort of looks like a ball of fry. You know what I mean? It looks, because a ball of fry, you very rarely get a real good look at it. It's just this blob of darkness that looks like a shadow swimming around in the water.
Yeah, I think it could be a ball of minnows. I think it could be, there's a valid argument to be said that they look like the protozoa and the single cell organisms that they eat when they're fry. Like I think there's I don't know that I need to know.
That's usually the key to a good bait is it mimics whatever the fish wants it to look like.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting.
I don't think it'll ever go away. I think it's going to be maybe not to this scale, but I think it's going to be just like the Senko. It's the movement. It's constantly moving. All those appendages are constantly moving. That's the reason why the Senko gets bit, is it wiggles on the way down.
Yeah.
It's simple, and I feel the same way about the dice. I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll find that there's a kind of a dice category, but I think we're going to see a lot of expansions off of the dice, right? Like just crazy creature style baits. Because I think right now that's one thing I feel like, at least in the fishing world, I feel like there's a demand for innovation. There's a want to try something different. And whether that is good or bad, I don't know, but I don't think it's a bad thing for anglers wanting to try to think outside of the box. And I think we see it too with a lot of your smaller shops like Core Tackle, where there are the caliber of builders getting better, but more than anything, the access to the ability to make the products getting better. I mean, like I just bought a 3D printer and it's like I'm playing around with hard baits. I don't know that I have any intention to do a hard bait, but I have a 3D printer now where I can go online and print already designed hard baits, or I can design my own hard bait. So it's just the ability, the access to doing it is out there. The information as to how to make plastic molds for yourself on YouTube, or, you know, build rods, like it's all out there. So when you give people the ability and the knowledge to do their own design work and custom stuff, I think it leads to innovation down the road, which is awesome. Like I love that personally.
I think we're set just for what we've seen historically in bass fishing. You'll sort of remember this. You know, there was a lot through the 80s. There was a lot of little companies, and then there's conglomerates started buying them up. You know, and that's how we ended up with Berkeley and what Berkeley owns, Pradco. You know, there was one other one, I forget what it was, but it doesn't exist anymore. And then you saw in the early 2000s a bunch of new companies resurrect. Well, what have we just seen? A lot of companies got bought up by conglomerates. So now we're going to see there's opportunity and openings for niche manufacturers to bring stuff to the table that maybe would have been harder to do before, because all these other companies were able to maintain very niche product offerings.
Yeah, and it makes, I mean, from a bigger company standpoint, it makes a lot of sense too. And it's, I mean, there's a lot of synergies across the board, but you know, if you're a plastic manufacturer, well, you're going to save some money if you buy the actual production facility, right? Yeah. You can make a little bit of extra money if you buy the packaging facility. So it makes a lot of sense to do it. And then once you've got if you're talking about the bigger companies where they've got their own salespeople, you know, they're their own distributors at that point. So, you know, if you're a fishing reel company, well, if we had rods, we could sell rods, put them on the same truck, go into the same tackle shop. So it makes a lot of sense to do it. And the thing is, though, when you start getting real big like that, I think you do lose some of the innovation too, because you're more worried about the actual routes and getting the product out there. And, you know, maybe the process is easier to buy companies at that point.
You start, it's hard to offer and justify stocking a product that's very niche-y. You know, I'm sure in core tackle you have stuff that you're passionate about.
Yeah, we make it for ourselves. Literally everything we make is for ourselves.
Well. Yeah. You know, as Dirty Jigs always had that. But then when you start talking about, you know, well, it's not beneficial for me to make less than 100 pieces all the same. And you look at something and you're like, I only sell 36 of that all year. You know, stuff starts getting cut.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you see out of, especially when you start having, you know, investment groups and you have to justify profit margins and stuff, and your inventory has to cycle fast. And
yeah, I don't have that right now.
You know,
I have it. I mean, we make a bunch of sizes that are literally like for ourselves, and it's like, oh, well, that's getting a little low. I need a few more for my tackle box, so I tack it onto the order. Yeah, but it would be totally different. Like if it was all about, you know, managing the SKUs. And that's the thing, like going back with us, like if we were doing it specifically to save the pennies, to pay for our own living, you know, and pay for our mortgage and all that, we probably wouldn't be we wouldn't be a fraction of what we are right now, because we would be concerned about that stuff.
I think most tackle companies start that way, where it's the hobby, it's the part-time job, it's not the source of income.
And did you start as a hobby, or did you like quit cold turkey, go, I'm going to create a jig company and make that my living? It was a hobby for a long time. But then when I decided I was going to turn it into a business, it was per se cold turkey. But I always had backup. You know, I could always go remodel a kitchen or go do something, or work at, you know, my buddy owned an archery shop. I could go work for him in the fall. So them first 5 years, really, it was like I went and did everything I could to be able to do what you talked about, keep as much money in the business as possible. Yeah,
Because I approach is like at that time, like it was the 5-year thing. Most businesses fail in the first 5 years or 3 years or whatever it was that they always said. And I was like, if I can put all the money it makes back into the business for that time period, it will work. But I have to do it for that time period. And it was 6 years in before I was like, I don't have to do none of this stuff anymore. I mean, there was times where I was working a job because most of the year I needed an employee. So I was working a job when I could to pay that employee when we were slow. So I didn't lose that employee.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't see that stuff.
Yeah. And we have that same sort of thing right now where it's like, we've got some, I mean, I don't know if I call them pro staff. They're more of content partners where it's like, hey, we need, some video footage here, and they'll go make it for us. It's not really like we're sponsoring them to go fish a tournament. But, and then we've got a business admin person. We got some people that do these other things, and they get paid first, right? Like they're the ones that you make sure are happy and doing the work and helping you grow. And I think a lot of people probably, when you really break down the numbers, what you don't realize is, you're selling a pack of hooks for a few bucks. I mean, like you're making like $1 a pack. I mean, is really what it comes out. It's not like you're selling big ticket items. So
the retailer
having inventory is such an important thing. So that's a big part of it. It takes a lot of money to stock a lot of hooks, but you need those, in my opinion, you need to have that in stock. I'm good right now. You need to have that in stock when you do get a good order. Because if you don't have it when you get a good order, they'll go somewhere else and find something to put on the shelf instead. So we've put a lot of emphasis into having inventory on hand. And it may be out once in a while. Like right now we're out of our Weedless Wacky shop, but they'll be in next week. So it's like, it's not a huge issue. Like we've done a much better job staying on top of everything and putting the money into inventory so we don't run into those issues.
I know you saw that. There was times that you'd be over here and you're like, what? Aren't you guys busy?
Yeah.
No hooks, can't do anything.
Yeah.
Can't paint a jig with just without a hook.
Hooks are the worst part.
Oh, they are.
Look, hooks are the worst part.
You guys don't deal with skirts that much like I did. Skirts were it was always either the hooks or the skirts. They were both could be equally as bad, but it was all so many times one or the other.
Yeah, skirts haven't been an issue for us, but we don't. Like you're talking side projects, like we've got a swim jig, and that's kind of my
that's your little that's
so
what I was referring to.
Yeah. The hooks are the other. Like you don't realize how many hooks you can blow through, and the problem is if you don't have them, and the supplier doesn't have them, or nobody has them, it could be a long time before you get those.
So right before COVID happened, I was already ordering hooks 16 months in advance.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that.
By the end of COVID, it was 2
plan for
years.
That, though?
You pray and hope and cross your fingers.
Yeah, I can't imagine because I mean, like nowadays, I feel like the trends are here and gone too. Like you could order those hooks.
The nice thing was that you could. They were pretty lenient on you being able to cancel stuff. So if something happened, like the guppy head, you were really close with the guppy head. Most people don't probably know is at one point in time that was your signature bait, right?
I tried to get you to make that a lot sooner. Make a finesse swim bait. That design and everything was yours.
We have disagreeing opinions on the
first. Dude, for years I was like, we need something for the little 2.8 and 3.3s, and you're like, we don't need it. And then one day I came over, you're like, I'm working on something. You showed it to me. I was like, I like that.
I had to wait for a certain patent to run out.
Well, I don't know what you were waiting on. I just know that there was a small swim bait trend happening. And there were not really any heads specifically for it. Like I was throwing the gopher mushroom head is what I was throwing prior to that, which was a good little head, but it was not necessarily a swim bait head at that point. Yeah.
I really wanted to do it differently originally, and I ended up just going with the 90 degree, but because there wasn't a hook, I wasn't going to custom order hooks. But anyway, that hook, that 604 Gammy, that those first 3-4 years of the Guppy had, almost every single 604 that came in, I had so many orders in so far. It's like they came off a boat and shipped here. Like that's how many, like they couldn't keep up because and that's when you seen, it wasn't just me. You had so many other companies putting that 604 gammy. You know, there was the Bass Tactics Smeltinator, and there was me. And now everybody's got one, right?
Oh yeah, lots of them.
And they almost all have a 604 gammy in them.
Oh really? Yeah.
You know, or at this point now, somebody's like VMC's got a really nice match to it. I think Victory Hooks does too.
Sure, are they BKK still around? Does. Victory Hooks?
Last I knew.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, honestly, that's one category I should probably do a better job, like actually trying to leverage prices, like go into companies and the hook companies and trying to be like, well, if we bought this many, I don't like, that's the thing. Like
you should.
I know I should, but I'm just saying like we're really I'd say we're a 4-man team. Johnny and I, and then Johnny's wife Aniel does a lot of our marketing stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we've got one, a business, I guess a business guy that runs, like manages a lot of the inventory and the distributor stuff, but it's still we're all working full-time jobs on top of it too. So it's just hard to stay on top of all that. And that's the one thing too, like, because we don't really have the industry knowledge from the production side. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't really know the correct approach to everything. And I think the partners we have now are great. I'm not saying they're taking advantage of us by any means. I'm just saying, like, if I was truly running it to save a few pennies here and there, I would probably be out there taking, getting quotes from every major hook company out there to see what they could do. But we're more concerned about putting out good product and growing it.
You and I could probably have a conversation about where you're at and whether it's worth to do that and who to call.
We could do it at some point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I haven't fell asleep.
Not asleep.
He's just like,
bring you on to talk, and you're doing plenty of that.
Just shut me up if I'm talking too much.
You should have heard me. I was sort of during the Clausen, one. I was feeling pretty under the weather. I was about to color that wall over there.
Okay. I didn't talk at all.
I didn't talk at all, like at all, hardly. I couldn't even, like, they would say something and then they'd look at, well, what do you think, Kurt? I have no clue. I have no clue what they even talked about.
I had to edit out some dead spots because we'd stop. I'm looking at Kurt like, you gonna chime in?
You got anything to add?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even know what you just talked about 5 seconds ago. I was sick.
That's not good.
Yeah. So you got core tackle, you got the YouTube stuff, you got the tournament stuff, and on top of all that, and the kids.
I got kids,
and I know your wife keeps you pretty busy with her business. Mm-hmm. Like and you've got some other irons in the fire, mm-hmm. and yet you still find time to build some rods.
I do. Yeah, I love it. I don't. So it's a winter thing more than anything. It's a winter or on a needed basis. Mm-hmm. So, if I happen to go to a tournament and break a rod and I'm like, oh man, I got to replace that now for the next event, I'll do it. But generally it's a cold weather thing mm-hmm. for me. And I don't build as much as I used to, but I do love it.
Well, you get to the point where you start building, you get enough built up, right?
Yeah, I've got a little stockpile.
And then it's just replacement stuff. Need an extra rod here or there.
That's the best part about it, when it's like you do break one, and you got 3 more sitting up there, and then you're like, well, I'll just grab one of those. Yeah. I mean, not only is it great from a cost saving standpoint, I actually think it makes you a better angler. And it makes you more in tune with everything that you're doing. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And I'd love to, we'll do another podcast just about the rod building, because there's so much there that I don't think people understand. It's not a financial value gain per se.
It can be
when you
It
build
can
your own
be.
stuff.
It can
But
be.
Yeah.
when you start,
doing enough of
well, I
it.
know, no, but I'm saying if there's other things that how do you put money towards knowing your rod's spined properly and it handles the fish and isn't fatiguing on you?
Mhm.
You know, I've got a guy right now that I've managed to procure some of my, older builds that I did, because I've been away from it for, I don't know, 5-6 years since I was building some new ones, because the few that he has, he's like, I can use this. If I use my other equipment, it's just too fatiguing.
Hmm.
He comes fishing with me. He can flip all day and still be fine the next day. Uses his own equipment from a major brand, and the blanks aren't spined. So every time he sets the hook on a flipping stick, it wants to twist sideways out of his hand, and he can only do it for a few hours, and he's done. His body won't handle it anymore. So there's things like that you're getting when you build it yourself.
Yeah.
You're
building it exactly how you like it. Like I think that's one
Mhm.
thing most people don't recognize that until they start building.
Yeah.
Meaning, you go to the store to buy a rod,
Yeah.
and you have your options in front of you, and you're being told in a way what you want. And generally the rods are built to meet the needs of the masses.
Yeah.
But when you start building rods, you start to go into the store and pick up a rod and be like, I would have done that different. I would have put that there. And then what you're recognizing is, that you've got a preference.
Yeah.
It could be the smallest thing. It could be where the hook keeper is. It could be the length of the handle. It could be the type of the handle. I mean, whatever it is,
I dealt with that a lot. The length of handle. Like, I don't mind. I'm short and chubby. I don't mind a long handle on flipping stick.
And I'm the other way.
Yeah.
I like a short handle.
And and it's most of the guys I know that are like you. They're tall and more slender. I mean, and you're not.
I'm putting weight on.
Yeah, but you're not a stick. Never have been. But like, you're tall enough. Adam, same thing. And it's always you guys like you that are like, well, I want only like a 9-inch handle on my flipping stick. And I'm just like, why? Like, how do you get that under your arm? Like, I have T-Rex arms. Like,
I don't like a long handle because it gets caught on me, and that bothers me. Like, if it gets caught, like I don't know. It just doesn't feel freeing to me. So I like a shorter one generally. I just feel like it's cumbersome.
I like it long enough that it goes along me.
Yeah, you use it for leverage.
Well, no, because if it's too short, it catches your hoodie pocket, right?
Yeah.
If it's longer, it don't catch your hoodie pocket.
But it doesn't come around your side.
Well, mine it has to, because my arms aren't long enough. But
Do you set the hook with it on your side? I'm a belly setter, so I put it right into my gut.
Like this.
But you're using the side for leverage because it's a longer handle.
I'm like this, so it's not leveraged against me.
Okay.
But
where do you get your bruises?
I don't.
You need to catch more fish.
So I'll say this is long before I started.
I've fished with Matt. He just leans into them. I'm like Swindle. I slackline them sons of guns.
I'm a hard leaner.
Yeah, you are.
That's what I would call.
Mm-hmm.
This is long before I started building rods, but when I first started getting custom rods built, it was because of swim baits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'd have a 10-ounce bait, and you could not find a swim bait rod with a long enough handle. Like, you are ruining elbows, and I'm feeling it now from the years of throwing swim baits on the wrong rod, and it just destroys you. And years later now, I've gotten to the point where I'm building my own stuff, and it's not just swim baits. I'm building certain rods a certain way for a certain reason. And, building custom rods, you have that ability. Like you said, Kurt, there's certain rods on the market, little things I just want to change this just a little bit, and you can.
Yeah.
But all of us, I think we all are in the same boat. And we had Logan Bliss on the podcast, and he's in the same boat too. We've all sort of used the same brand stuff most of our fishing career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to bash anybody, but I mean, there's definitely some changes that could be made. Simple changes amongst most of the major rod manufacturers, in my opinion, that would just generally help out the angler as a whole and make that where you're not talking about your elbows, you're not talking about your wrist.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was what I always found, a lot of companies would come out with a line of rods. Within that line of rods, there might be 6 to 10 different technique rods,
Yep.
right? And some will label it actually spinnerbait, frog, crankbait, blah, blah, blah. And the reality is most of the time those rods meet the needs of whatever that technique is. But most anglers out there are not, for every technique out there, not doing exactly what that technique requires, right? Like, if you were to talk to a swim jig fisherman in Florida, they have a whole different need than what a swim jig fisherman probably up in the upper Midwest needs.
Or even Alabama. It's a different
I mean, that's my point. So, like, the problem I've always had with that is if I'm going to buy a rod because I just started throwing swim jigs, I'm going to pick up probably the rod that says swim jig.
Yeah.
But what you'll find as you build rods and become a more experienced angler is those rods are not necessarily built for how I like to fish, whatever that technique is. Yeah. And I don't fault the companies. Like, I don't know, from a company standpoint, that bit probably makes more sense and it helps them sell rods. It just is a matter of when you build your own rods, you can build the exact rod that you want.
Yeah. Well, I know Dye was pretty good about it. They've got their Tatula Elites or whatever, and you got a couple models for Brett Height and a couple models for Talk, and then Ish has got a frog rod and maybe a flip and sit, But you're, back to your point there, it's like if it's a Brett Height's or it's not Brett Height, Randy Howell swim jig rod. I don't know if they make one, but how he fishes a swim jig is different how I fish a swim jig or you fish a swim jig, so it may not be the right rod.
And what you find too is, I mean, the bait performance and rod performance, everything is dictated by the full setup, not just the rod, right? So what pound test are you using? What type of line are you using? What bait are you throwing? How fast is your reel? There's so many different variables that go into rod choice as well. So, if you're looking to change the action on a bait or change the performance, you can do it by switching rods, but you can also do it by keeping the same rod you have and switching to a different gear ratio reel or switching to a different line type. Like, there's so many variables that go into it that it's hard to think one rod could actually satisfy the consumers out there.
Right.
And again, it goes back to, like, for me at this point, I feel like I'm building rods not just for techniques, but for the bait that I like to fish within that technique. And I feel like I'm achieving better performance out of whatever the bait is, right? If you're talking vibrating jigs, they're not all the same. Maybe some guy likes to throw the Mini Max and some guy likes to throw the Slobber Knocker or whatever, right? And it's like, you can literally build the rod around that bait that you throw on a regular basis.
Yeah, how that bait thumps against the rod is different.
Yeah.
That's jerk baits, I think, is where that really comes out. Yeah. When I was jerk bait and fishing the Bay, Green Bay a lot, fishing a jerk bait consistently all year round, I had 3 different rod models that I used for jerk baiting, depending on what jerk baits I was throwing.
Yeah. And when you talk to jerk bait fishermen, I mean, you built a jerk bait rod for me back in the day. Most people would laugh.
You couldn't pay me to use
that because of what I
bait.
use. I mean, I throw a 6.6 whipstick of a rod because I use 6-pound test spinning gear so I can throw that bait a quarter mile.
Yeah.
And I want something that won't pull the hooks out of the fish.
Yeah.
But then you have other people that want a bait caster and heavier line and they throw bigger jerk baits or whatever. It solely comes down to, as I look over here at all the different blanks, there's a reason if you get the Mudhole catalog, which to me, like, when I was a kid, I used to get the Bass Pro Shops master catalog and memorize it, right? I don't even know if they still have the master catalog.
They do.
If they do, I don't know.
They do.
I don't memorize it like I used to. But the catalog that I get now that I kind of flip through and I'm like, this is neat, is the Mudhole master catalog. Because there are so many different components. It's probably, to a new builder, it's actually very overwhelming, I'm sure, which is one of the negatives to it. But the reality is there's so many different components because we all want different things. We all build the rods differently. We all fish differently. And from that standpoint, that's why I think a rod builder learning to build rods is very is a very good thing to improve your overall angling skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you talked about a rod specific to baits. I've talked about that in a tactical video before, the CB 905. That is my Fritz side rod. That is, you look in my rod locker right now, there's a Fritz side on that rod. Because to me, that is the perfect rod for that bait.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the CB 905.
Do that with anything.
I like it for that. And I like it for like really small vibrating jigs. But, you know, if I'm going to a bigger vibrating jig, I want it, then I'll jump up to like the 907. And it's, you know, that's why, like on my videos, I get questions all the time from people who are like, well, what's the perfect blank for, you know, a deep crankbait, or what's the perfect blank for this or that? And I always want to reply back, like, you got to give me more, like, give me more specifics, and I'll give you a couple of blanks that I think would be good for you. But it's even hard to say, hey, this is the perfect blank, because I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I'll give them my recommendation. Generally, what I do is I just send them my rod build recipe, and I say, this is what I use. You know, this is, I like the 907 for, you know, whatever, and move on from there. And
that's like, there were some baits that you put on that 906. See, you know, the CB 906, there was like, I don't know if I've ever felt so comfortable and in contact with a crankbait in my life.
Yeah.
And that blank was one that made me go, okay, I'm going to completely rethink my crankbaiting and how much that rod can matter.
I actually think the CB 907, so 1 power heavier than that, is why I'm now in love with vibrating jigs.
Yeah.
Like I was an early adapter in terms of purchasing vibrating jigs. I never had much success on it, but I was throwing it on a 7.4 medium heavy fast action rod. You know, same thing I'd throw like a spinner bait on, right? And I didn't have much success with it.
I didn't have success with a vibrating jig until I threw it on a composite, basically crankbait rod.
It makes a huge difference. It's amazing.
Yeah. And if you get it right, like you feel fish push water over a bait.
I built a rod for my dad for a birthday present on the 907 because I think I reached out to you, Matt, saying it is specifically about the 907, not just on a chatterbait rod, but you know, specifically about the 907. Hey, does this work for a chatterbait rod?
And the cool thing too,
because without having it in your hand, you'd never know. And you've had those rods, and you've had every one of those blanks in your hand for the most part.
And that's the thing too. I think with rod building, like it is a tight niche community, but it's such a helpful community. Yeah. Like, I mean, I reached out to Kurt. I've reached out to a bunch of people and be like, I'm looking for something to do this. And sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you don't. But I don't feel like you ever get a misleading answer, right? It's like the answer is, man, I don't know that I have a good rod for that.
Yeah.
But if somebody reaches out, they're like, what do you have a good chatterbait rod? I'm like, I love the CB 907. Like to me, that is really the perfect setup for it, you know? And at that point, then it's like, I've already got my rod recipes. So I just take a picture of it and send it out. And it's like, you know, there's no reason not to share that. It's not like I've got some secret information. And, you know, I just think it's a really helpful community. You know, that's one thing with Mudhole. Like, you know, when I've been down there, you walk their showroom floor and then they got this big area that it almost looks like a call center, right? It is a call center, but they've got people that are just answering questions. And it's like, you call them and you're like, I need this, or I want that, or how do I do this? And they've got all the answers for you. Not to mention
they'll running back and
dude, they're running
they'll
to
fit
the showroom floor.
To
they're like grabbing the parts, coming back so that they can actually like talk about the part on the phone. It's really impressive. And and then, I mean, if you need help otherwise, I mean, they've got such a huge video selection that shows you how to do everything too, that, you know, the overwhelming part, I think, for most builders is not having the resource. Like I'd never be doing it if you weren't doing it. You showed me how to do it. I went home. You realize it's actually not that hard. Like it really is not that hard.
Once you understand the subtle little starting points of, oh, okay, I can just, every rod I can start the first guide on my bait caster this distance from the reel. you know, unless you're doing a flipping stick, literally pole line flipping. You're pretty much can do same distance on every rod.
It's one of those things that if you've got a resource, it becomes much easier. But I don't know that I've done anything rod building wise, and I'm not I don't make the really cool wraps, right? Like I couldn't sit down and do that. I don't know that I really want to do that because
I don't want to.
When I watch people do it, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. You just did a thread wrap that's 8 inches long and it's gorgeous, but it took you 12 hours. I'm like, I just want to go fishing with my rod.
Yeah, right? I'm very utilitarian about, I want the rod as light as I can.
Yeah.
As sensitive as I can.
And I'm not knocking. Like
no.
I am so, but when you watch those people do it and I sit there with my jaw open and it's like, I can't even comprehend how they're doing it. It's super cool.
It's mind blowing what some people are able to do.
It is wild. Like,
it's crazy.
I mean, you watch some of the people and now they're making like designed hand wraps, like for handles and stuff. And
you start lathing cork handles and doing all this stuff. And it's like, holy cow. I mean, I've done some cool themed rods for people, you know, like especially military stuff. I've done a bunch of those. And I always enjoy doing them because it's very personal to the individual when you do something like that. And it's usually end up being a gift. So be involved with someone getting, you know, if they're a Navy veteran or an Air Force veteran or something. And like I did one that, you know, Navy veteran stationed on ADAC, like literally had custom decals for ADAC and his platoon or whatever it was. And the colors and all this stuff and incorporate that into it and to see them get basically teary-eyed. Mm-hmm. Like that's really cool. But is it this big, long, weaved wrap? No, I'm not quilting my fishing rod.
I've
got a similar deal. Like our babysitter for her high school graduation, I reached out to her dad. I said, "Hey, I'm going to build her a rod. What's her favorite color?" And it was nothing fancy, but I think he described it as like a sunshiny yellow. So I found a yellow wrap that was similar, and then I found some color shifting mica powder that shifted from like red to orange to, you know, something else. Yeah. And I mixed that in the epoxy, and when I took it outside and after it was dry, I was like, looks like sunshiny yellow, and she was stoked. You know, it's the little stuff like that, the personal stuff.
Yeah. Well, and talking about color, for me, one of the things I absolutely love about it is when I build a rod, that rod is that color scheme forever.
Yeah.
So when I've got 12 rods on the deck of my boat, I don't have to look at the label. I know I can pick it up based on the color, whether it's the handle or the color, the thread wrap. I know exactly what it is. And it's made me much more efficient versus, you know, in the old days, I might have 7 rods that were all the same line, you know, manufacturer, same, model.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Holy, you'd pick up 4 rods before you picked up the one that you wanted. And it's become much more efficient from that standpoint for me, just in tournament mode. Like, I know it sounds like a small little thing, but over the course of 8 hours, maybe that's 5 or 10 extra casts, right? And that could be enough to catch an extra fish. So to me,
I'm doing the same thing. All my cranking rods have the 6-inch. They've all got the wind grips and 6-inch cork color wind grip right off the back of the reel handle, and then a 3.5-inch black on the backside on the butt end. They're all cranking rods, you know, so I can look down. I know that's a cranking rod, or reach down into the rod locker. I'm shuffling through 30 rods in the rod locker. Oh, there's a cranking rod. What bait? Okay, there it is.
Yeah, that's how it is for me.
See, and I would do stuff like that, like all my flipping sticks. So whether it's a FP 885 or, you know, the 7.6s or anything, it's always pretty much the same handle, but I would change the thread.
Yeah.
So like the 885 would be gray thread, Yeah,
that's what so all of my flipping rods, so I'll say light flipping, more of my utilitarian stuff, I'll have a blue handle, but then they've got, based on power, they'll go from a light blue thread wrap to a dark blue thread wrap.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just makes me more efficient, and I like it. And
that's what my cranking rods always were purple. I always wrapped them with purple, and it was sort of the same thing, you know.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily like that's my favorite color.
No.
It's just like that's the category color. And
mine was sort of like,
You want it to be different.
I'm not putting purple on anything else. I'll put it on my crankbait rods.
yeah. Yeah, it's good. And if you like the wind grips, you should try the new fish skins that Mudhole's come out with. Yeah, they're I don't know how they feel tacky almost to the touch. And they feel like they're like, I really like wind grips, except for the fact that when you have a rod that's 7-8 years old and you use it, they'll start to actually like the grips will wear away.
Yeah.
The fish skins ones feel much more durable, and they'd probably be worth trying. It's just something like they just have a different feel.
The nice thing with all that stuff with the EVA core is that you can replace them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is the nice thing, and that was the big thing that Wind did push in the beginning when they first started. Because when I first started building, that was when Wind just and they had a ton of videos out there about, you know, you cut this off with a razor blade, you put this stuff on it, you know.
It doesn't actually even bother me that they wear away a little bit. You can even, and
it's essentially an EVA grip with that Wind texture.
Yeah, and if you don't want to cut them off, you like Wind has tape. You can go buy tape and just put it on too. Like it's just comes down to personal preference. I know some people are like, I'd never throw anything but cork, and for me, cork doesn't work really well because the way I cast, I'm very snappy with my wrist, and if my hands are dry and the cork is dry, I will fling a rod right off the boat. Like that will happen multiple times a year. I've lost rods because of that. And it doesn't happen with the wind grips now. Like it does not happen. And it just feels much better in my hand. Plus, I think it's like with the wind grips, they're warmer in colder temperatures. Mm-hmm. So for being somebody up here in Wisconsin, they tend to, they're just more comfortable overall in my hands.
I just can't get over the cosmetic of cork. It's just,
you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something special about it, but with the like split grips now,
it's dirty though.
Yeah, it does.
That's what they make magic erasers for.
I don't think that works that well.
Really?
I've tried that. And
I'll have to show you because, dude, it works good.
I end up taking sandpaper to them.
Well, if it's real bad, I'll take
mine.
Yeah,
sanding.
You can use dish soap, and the residue that it leaves with dish soap, it's not the same.
No,
and then what happens is you make them really slippery.
Yeah. That's a regular magic eraser works pretty dang good. If you start 3-4 years of heavy use on a flipping stick, you need to get sandpaper. Yeah. I know guys, some that put that UV 40 or whatever it is, that cork sealant on their rods.
That works pretty good.
I don't like it.
I think
it makes it. It looks like you sprayed it with lacquer.
Yeah,
it's like an epoxy coating over the top of it. I can't stand it.
And it feels slippery.
Yeah, that's like my dad, when he retired, his office got him a custom made rod with a wood handle.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And he took it out and fished it one time, and he's like, I'm gonna put it away. I don't want to break it. And I was like, let me make a cast with that. And I picked it up and I was like, well, I know why you're putting it away. It's not comfortable in the hands and it weighs like 4 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's like, but it's a nice showpiece. I'm like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you probably shouldn't use it, right? But it's just one of those things. Maybe there's somebody out there that likes to have a 2x4 in their hands, right? Like, I don't know. It's fair game for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I've used some of them, the carbon fiber grips.
Mm-hmm.
I remember John loves them. John was a big fan of those because of the sensitivity increase.
Yeah, I don't like the feel of them.
I don't like the feel of them either. But then a buddy of mine's got some of the this new skeet reefs rod.
I don't know what he's got on that.
What are they called?
Mm-hmm.
Level rods, I think it is. No, it's not level.
His brand is Reese.
Yeah, so his rod. So it's like this. It's like this grip, which you brought this, which is awesome. I got to see that. So you tell them what that is.
That's the Suka too,
from American Tackle. Yeah. So his rod, a lot of the handles like this, but it has that that latex. that latex texture on like a matte finish Lucky Craft or Mega Bass. Yeah. It has like that feel on the carbon fiber. So it's got a good tackiness. It feels nice. This is nice.
I like
but
how
some
that
of those,
fits
like
in
the
palm.
CFX carbon fiber grips, I'm not a fan of them. I feel like it's too abrasive.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it too. I really like the Suka 2 for the spinning rod specifically because I like it on the baitcaster too, but the curvature fits my hand really well.
Yeah,
that's what I really like about it.
I was looking at these just actually today and I was like, I should order one or not, and then you show up.
Well, the other aspect too,
you can
so that's it's just a one piece.
What blank is that?
The blank is the NSJ 872, so 732 power. But these are really easy to build because it's a one piece.
Yeah.
You don't have, and generally I'd use a split grip. So then you're dealing with a butt. Yeah. You got your reel handle. You might, all the different pieces that you'd use with your, in this case, a spinning reel. It's just one piece.
You're just gluing that in there.
There's a couple of arbors and glue.
Yeah.
And it really speeds the process up, even to the point, like for me, from a thread work standpoint, I generally would do a couple thread work pieces down here between the grips, and it just speeds up the process. But from a feel standpoint, I think it transfers really well. Transfers feel in terms of the actual feel of the rod, or the like fish bite type feel, and it feels good in my hand. But it's just
sensitivity.
It just is a really simple rod build, which is something that I really liked about it. And I think they were new last year. Now they're actually offering full rod build kits with them. Yeah. So all the different pieces that you need, which is one of the nice things too. Like I actually filmed a video the other day. Do you want this back? Play with it some more.
You can set it over there by that the pile.
You want me to forget it, so I'll leave it here. So I filmed a video not too long ago, just talking about. So a lot of the videos I do for YouTube are based on questions that I get from viewers, because when you do one every day, you need some ideas. And I get a lot of comments from people like, what are the things I need to build rods? Like the tools that I need, or, do you save money when building rods? So I just did a general video kind of talking about, answering some of those questions. And a lot of times you get questions regarding components, right? Like, how do I know what sizes I need and this and that? And I think you see like Mudhole, they must get a ton of those questions. This is why they're doing all these kits now. So you can build these high dollar, like high end rods, like with the Suka 2 and the Elite rods. Like you can build very high quality rods. And I think it was like $200. Like you get the kit, that you can get a rod building kit right now that comes with the rod blanks, all the components, everything you need, plus all the tools, the turner, the drying, like for $200. It's like,
that rod that you have right there. I don't know what you have into it, but I'm familiar with all the components and the pricing and stuff. So I know it's not crazy priced, but I'd put the quality of that blank and the quality of the materials on it up against the highest end thing you can probably buy in a store.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably cost half. That build, it's nowhere near the price of an NRX.
No, it's probably a couple $100 if you were.
Yeah. And instead of the guides you put on it, if you'd buy a TI Forged titanium frame guide kit, which isn't that much.
Yeah,
really.
Which is nice too, now that they're doing all the guide kits. Like they've really made it easy for the customer or the builder to get the right components, to get all the right sizes, where they've really shortened that down. But that, like, one of the questions I always get is like, I don't want to buy all the stuff to build it. I'm like, dude, they have sales all the time. You can get all the components you need, like all the tools, and I think the kits will be on sale for like $100. Or you buy one that comes with all the rod parts to build your first rod for $200.
I signed up for the text message alerts, and I missed out on it because I was up north and not good reception and stuff, and I missed out on getting 25% off a CRB Pro, wrapper, the power wrapper. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I tried to pull some favors after the fact. Like,
you couldn't get it done?
Couldn't get it done. I haven't pushed hard enough yet because I feel like one guy sort of owes me for a bow there, but and he'll probably watch this and go, oh, shit.
Well, that's between you guys. But what I will tell you is, I mean, what you just said is another thing. Like, and again, I'm everything I generally get is through mud holes. So they're who I deal with.
Me too.
But like when you're talking about sales and stuff, like you can get blanks all the time on sale. Like you may not be able to get the exact blank you want, but if you're picky enough and when it comes available, you can stock up on it, which is like we were talking about. You know, at this point, we've got enough rods built up where you've got your own little rod shop, and it's like, you know, one breaks or you have a new technique you want to try. It's like, I'm going to pluck that one down. And
But the initial investment to get into doing it is really not that much. Just to have a little hand wrapper with thread, epoxy, and then then you're buying the components for each rod you want to build.
What's that new hand wrapper? The lowest level one, not the cardboard one, but they got that.
I'm trying to think. I think it's just called the Hand Wrapper Pro, maybe.
No, that's the gray based one with the. Yeah. No, they have one below that now. That's
like the one for travel.
Yeah,
sort of. Talk about.
It's black.
Yeah, it's just the little black one.
Yeah,
I don't know how much that is. The Hand Wrapper Pro, I think, is only like.
Yeah, but I mean that one looks. I mean it's a plastic version of the Flex Coat rod wrapper that I started with.
Yeah, I mean the reality is you don't need anything super fancy, right? Like, especially like for me, I'm not trying to pump out 100 rods. I sit down, I'll be like, you know what? I feel like building a rod, right? It's a snowy day or like there's a football game on. I sit down. I generally don't finish a rod from start to finish. I generally put a handle on and then I let it dry and I might come back to it a week later and then I'll put
in the same way.
I'll start threading and maybe I do the whole rod. If I sit down and I just get into a groove, maybe I just put 2 guides on, you know, and get called away. And it's nice from that standpoint where I just do it at my speed. I take my time and, you know, it's, you don't, if you're doing it in that means, I personally feel like I don't have to have the power wrapper. Like I'm sitting down, hand wrapper is fine. I've built so many I don't have a power wrapper, but with my hand wrapper, I don't know how many rods I've built at this point, but it's a lot. And I've never once thought to myself, I wish I had a power wrapper.
I know. I tried selling you mine multiple times.
Well, and watching you do it with the foot control and all that, like it's cool and all, but I don't know that that's necessary for me just based on how I do it. If I needed to sit down and be like, I'm going to build 3 rods today and I need to build 3 next week, it probably would be worth it to learn it. But
I've sat here with my buddy Troy, because he's a builder too. And the way that me or you would build a bait cast rod, he's sort of went to the same guides, essentially everything. With the hand wrapper, he's not a whole lot slower. But when you do a spinning rod and you got the big feet, that's it.
I could see that,
you know.
Yeah, and
for me, I'm just so much more efficient and better with my thread wrapping, having both hands available.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the power wrapper. Is just I like having both hands, and for me to knock out a full guide train in 15 minutes is not. That's easy.
Yeah, it takes me longer than 15 minutes. It probably takes to do a whole rod thread work wise. I'm probably like, I'm going to say 45 minutes just to be, you know, I could probably do it in less if I really was doing it from a speed standpoint, but it's like, I just kind of, I make it enjoyable. Like I'm not talking about like straightening the guides and all that. I'm saying like you get them close. Just just the thread work takes me about 15 minutes. And that's, you know, if I got to sit there and like Adam and I were talking the other day, like I like to hot melt. I use the cheap hot melt, the like clear hot melt. To stick them on.
Yeah. And that helps a lot too, because you never have the guide shift forward. Once you figure out how hot and how much glue, it never wants to push forward on you. Which if you tape them or band them, you can have some of them big feet want to push forward.
I use just like rod tip glue. I heat the foot up, dip it on there, and stick it on there. And
I don't use the amber stuff. I use the clear looking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, essentially same thing.
I think I think the first reason I got into it to begin with was to be able to repair my own rods. I got tired of breaking a guide off and having to take it to somebody else and pay somebody $20 to wrap a single foot, and now when my buddies break a guide or whatever, bring it over. I'll fix it for you.
That's one thing I was going to say before when you were talking about the cost of the equipment. The cost of that initial kit that has your turner for curing your epoxy, has the wrapper and some miscellaneous parts. That kit, if you fix 2 purchased rods from a store, with that, it pretty much paid for itself.
Well, I know the local shop, the last time I heard, was charging $35 to replace a guide.
Mm-hmm.
I think
$35.
I think a tip was $20.
Yeah,
but
and here's the worst part: is they replace the guide with whatever guide's close in the store.
A lot of times it's not done nearly as well as somebody that does it. And I would say the same thing. Like most rod builders I know turn into the repair guy.
Yeah,
and like I don't like my buddies. I'm always doing stuff for my friends and neighbors and stuff, and I don't charge anything.
I've got a hot tip for you doing guides for your buddies.
Easily turn it into. I'm not saying income source, like you should take advantage of anyone, but I mean, you can easily, somebody brings you a couple rods, you make $20 out of it, right?
Yeah,
you just recouped a chunk of your overall expense for your tools that you need.
I mean, and if a guy really wants his rod, I mean, I know some guys that have knocked guides out of some pretty high end rods, and it's like, oh, pay to send this back to St. Croix or G. Loomis or whoever to have a guide repaired.
Yeah.
Well, if you understand enough stuff where you can be like, well, that's this type of guide, to order it or whatever, or if you have that type of stuff on hand, the guy will pay you $20 and tip you because you fixed it for him.
Yeah.
Short notice. And you saved him nowadays. Have you shipped a rod lately?
No. Well, no, but
it's like
imagine
$40.
I bet it's more than that.
Priority mail. And it's knocking on 100 anybody else.
Well, I mean, that is one tip I would have, though, is to have like when you, like every time I order, I don't order the exact number of things I need. Mm-hmm. I generally add 1 or 2 extra, or 1 or 2 in the sizes that are either bigger or smaller. And even if I'm really confident I know exactly what I need, I like to have those extra things so that, if a part breaks on another rod, the likelihood is I have it, or if somebody brings you a rod to repair, I've got various things and sizes. So I think it's really beneficial to have a bunch of spare parts.
Yeah, especially when you do start like getting to where you are now, or Adam is, like, you need your parts and pieces.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times
I know Adam wants to build a few rods right now. He's going to have to wait for his guides.
I mean, a lot of times it's about.
I'm always waiting for my guides.
Not as long as you do your blanks.
But a lot of times it's about, when you get a new blank that you haven't built, you don't know necessarily always what you need.
Yeah,
and even if you talk to like the customer service, they'll let you know. But it's like I feel like I've had times where you get a blank and maybe the tip's a tad bit smaller or bigger, so you want to go a little bit bigger or smaller just to get the right fit. And it's just nice to have those spare parts, once you have that. And it's not like you need to make that purchase right away. You just add a few pieces here and there. And next thing you know, you've got a kit full of.
And most of those parts and pieces are the cheap stuff. Like,
yeah. I mean,
like ultimately, a lot of that stuff is. I mean, really, the blank is the expensive part, unless you're going to get real fancy into, titanium type stuff. Other than that.
Yeah, it's just nice to have a handful of winding checks and extra guides and things like that. And those aren't expensive pieces at all.
Right. Even grips. That's pretty easy to keep extra grips around. Mm-hmm. I was wondering the other day, because I was setting all my stuff back up again, and I was like, what happened to all my wind grip stuff?
I got a lot of them.
I remembered.
I there was one day you're like, I'm getting out of it. I was like, let me take a look at what you got.
Yep.
And
he robbed every single straight taper colored wind grip I had of the model that you like, Adam.
Well, I'm more than happy to send them your way if you need some. If you're looking for certain ones, because some of the colors have been discontinued, or you like the 6-inch, you said? The black ones?
6 and 3.5. Black or cork.
He's
either
using
way.
the new 6-inch.
I use the cork on the cranking rod.
What's the new 6-inch?
So there's the ones that have like the basketball texture on them.
Yeah, no, these are the smooth ones.
And he uses the new one.
Is the new one the smoother one?
No.
Oh, is the new one basketball texture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have those ones.
Yeah, because I don't think I had any blacks in that, because originally when they came out with the colors, they didn't do black in the new one.
I don't think I got the blacks from you. So
you probably have the same black ones I have in the other room.
There was one time I went on Mudhole's website and they were selling. They were probably clearing out the old model. I bought a whole bunch of wind grips.
Yeah,
I got a whole
where it's got like the rectangles or.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a basketball, like the lines on a basketball, but it doesn't have the
knobbies. Yeah, like the colored ones you got for me all have those. Like
those
bumps.
are knobbies. Yeah.
See,
that's what you built my flipping rod in. It's the older one
that I built. Yeah,
Kurt. Yeah.
That's the older one. That's what I put on all my flipping sticks too. Yeah, I really like the MHX ones.
Yeah, they're nice too.
The durometer of the EVA, I think, is a little harder.
The only thing I don't like about them is the depending which ones you get, the fluorescent green. Yeah, because it goes against my color coding.
Yeah.
But overall, the ones I have held up really well.
I have some extra ones if you need some. If you need some fluorescent green ones, got a few over there. You know why I have so many of those?
I do.
Yeah. Should.
I don't. You probably told me at one point. We'll probably forgot.
Later. We'll talk about that later.
You got like, I mean,
I don't buy one of anything.
No, I was going to say you your rod build. I haven't been in your rod building room recently, but if it's still like it used to be,
I just reset it back up.
Okay, like I mean, it
was 2 days ago.
It was almost like walking into a store because you'd have like some pegboards and like down over by the desk and like different pieces all over.
I mean, if you take you just got to walk across the hall. If you take your headphones off, I'll
peek in afterwards. Maybe there's some. You need to sell anything? I'll buy some parts.
I mean, if you got some parts you need, I got some stuff there you could buy. But no, I'm glad to be.
We're over 2 hours in.
Yeah. I figured you were just gonna do a 2-episode same day launch, and one was just gonna be the rod building part.
Do we want to do that? We can split it in two.
Don't look
Keep
at me.
talking
I don't
rods.
care. I don't care.
You're the one who's got to drive an hour home. I'll be asleep by the time you get.
Like 9?
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean we can keep talking. Right. I don't care.
All right. Yeah. We can talk for a little bit longer.
I don't know that I have a whole lot more to add on rods, but
yeah.
I thought we were pretty close to wrapping it up. We could do it 1 episode, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, we went another third longer than that with Kyle.
Yeah.
Did you?
I would like to do seriously a dedicated rod building episode and talk about. We all do stuff a little different, and which is very interesting because, like, I know you've obviously with your working with Mudhole and MHX guys, like you've had a lot of influence above and beyond what I showed you originally, right? But everybody finds their own little way. Everybody finds their own little thing, what they like, and then you stick to that and grow upon that. Next thing you know, that evolves into something else. Like my biggest problem with rod building was I'd build 5-6 rods and then I'd try something new.
Then you'd like that.
And then I'd like that. Yeah. And then I'd sell to all my buddies, my 5-6 ones I built prior to that, and then redo them. So I was constantly
yeah.
Chasing perfection. That's what I loved about it is I could always tinker. If I tried a new guide train and I didn't like it, I just get the heat gun out, strip the guides off, redo it.
Yeah, I don't know that I chase perfection. I think I chase function.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
for
I,
me,
I
like
try to find the perfect functionality.
Improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like it's not necessarily like I'm trying stuff just because it's the newest and latest.
Right.
I like to try things to see if it just fits me better. You know,
Yeah.
like those Suka 2 handles
Yeah.
are like. I didn't when I first got it. You know, I got it. Mudhole sent me one. They're like, build it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And holding it, I was like, man, I kind of really like my current setup.
Yeah.
Then I built it and I took it fishing. And I was like, oh man, now I got to switch everything over.
I'll be honest. I really just like the feel of the reel seat portion.
The reel seat. So how it
how it fits my
fits
hand.
in your hand.
Yeah.
See, I
before you leave, I'm going to put a reel in it and just see.
Yeah, do it. I mean, and that's the thing. Again, it's not meant. That's why we rod build to build exactly what you want. It's one of those things where like the only thing I'll say that I don't like about the rod building, and this is I'm hesitant to make too many changes because I don't like building a rod and then finding out I don't really like it as much because that happens too, where you have components that you don't like, but that's a trial and error thing. So. You know,
you do enough of it, you sort of understand.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, honestly, I would say you do enough of it to the point where you can assemble the rod without fully assembling the rod to know whether you're going to like a piece or not. Like just how it fits in your hand, how it fits on the rod, how it looks. You know, I've got a lot of parts that I don't plan to ever use that I ordered thinking I might like, or they were on sale. So I bought it thinking maybe this would be something worth trying. And ultimately, I don't know that I've found a need for them at this point. Maybe down the road I will. But I think it's important to try. And that's where, like, if you have somebody you know, or you have specific parts that you really like, to make note of that. And then you can find those, if not the exact part, something really similar to build with.
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun when I did that jerkbait rod for you, you know, because you sort of challenged me. You're like, this needs to be able to cast 8-pound test fluorocarbon.
6.
Yeah, well, you told me
6 and 8 is what I threw.
Yeah, you told because 6 will cast if 8 casts.
Yeah,
right. So I had to take a spinning reel. Like, what spinning reel are you using? Spooled it up with 8-pound test. I think it was Sniper. You picked something that wasn't the easiest casting fluorocarbon.
It's probably in VizX back then.
Well, it would have been what I had here.
Oh,
because I used one of my spinning reels and stuff. But I taped guides on with freaking 1/8-inch masking tape, like mummy wrap them on there. And I did like 6 different guide configurations until I came up with the one that I thought this really, really works. Like, holy cow.
Dude, I remember standing in your road or in your driveway and casting a lot of different baits.
Yeah.
Like hair jigs and things like that, just to get a feel for.
And once I got that guide train down, it was like, okay, then we ran braid through it. But I even remember like when I first handed it to you and I'm like, this is the deal. And we took a Vision 110, took the hooks off.
We're chunking it down by the road.
And we went down there. And the first cast you made with it, you were like,
done.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And that's
what did you do?
Getting the flight of the line is really important. Yeah.
And now those guide kits they have, like I was looking at the specs on the TI Forge guide kits and what guides they have and the way they're spaced. And I'm like, where was this 10 years ago when I spent hours trying to, because it's almost identical to what's in that chart that you both have seen of mine for that guide train.
Yeah. Well, even like with that blank, I think it took a while to find that blank. I think we actually talked to Bob McCamey about it.
No, that first one was not an MHX blank.
No, not that, but to match with the MHX.
You should have called me. I have a spreadsheet with that info, how to do that. I will show you that later.
Well, regardless, anyways, it was one of those things where it was like, I really like this blank.
Yeah.
Can you find one that's a good match. And, again, that goes back to, you just need to know what the resources are, whether it's a friend or whether it's the company. And
that's something that I have a system for that, for matching that stuff. And I'm going to start measuring a lot more stuff and adding it to that. And I was going to talk to you about partaking in that and us possibly doing some combined effort videos on it. But conversation for later.
Talk about that later.
Yes, conversation for later. Stay tuned. We might go down a rabbit hole.
It's a deep hole.
My buddy, that I'm teaching a guy right now how to rod build. And he's like, "This ain't a rabbit hole. You went down a coal mine."
It's a lifestyle change.
Oh,
it really is. Like it's great, but it is one of those things where you don't just build one rod. Like I would imagine the number of people that have built one rod. It's like
you either build one or almost forever it.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Like to be frank, I've had a lot of people offer me good rod deals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not really that interested in that. Like, I'm really happy with working with Mudhole, and I'm really happy building my own rods. And I think there's a value on that I don't know that I can give up.
I've made a lot of stuff in the fishing industry, right, that other people use. That all started with building stuff for myself, and that reward. Nothing's been as rewarding as building a rod.
Well, and I attribute a lot of my success to the rods too. I mean, if I look at my results, the first 3 years on tour, I was in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I was spinning my wheels, kind of had some good finishes, had some bad finishes. And then I swapped completely over to the rods that Kurt built in 2000, and I think it was the end of 14.
How many did I build you? Do you remember?
I'm gonna say it was 10 or 12, maybe somewhere in that. It was like the main ones.
Yeah, you're
like
flipping sticks.
Yeah, it's like the stuff I used a lot.
Swim jig rod.
And honestly, every year I've had custom rods. I think the worst year I've had on tour is 41st in points.
Yeah,
and it's like, can I actually point to it and say that that's the reason? No, but I think there's a lot of value that goes into it, because I remember using a lot of store-bought rods and just being frustrated with them. And I don't have the same frustration. Not like frustration like they weren't working right, but frustration like, man, I just don't feel like I'm in tune with my baits like that. And that's a
I wish something was a little different.
Yeah. Like, oh man, it's just a little too fast.
Right? I find myself chasing my tail trying to find that just right rod because of that. Because I've been since I was like, I don't have time for this, and some other opportunities came up, and I was like, so I've been using store-bought factory built rods, and they're really, really good rods. And for the most part, the hardest thing I find is just finding that right rod that fits it. And they've been G Loomis's, and especially with the new GLX, like I can find between NRX and GLX, but that's an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's not like, I'm not sitting here saying you can't buy good store-bought rods. Like, I think every brand out there is putting out very good, high quality rods, but there's something to be said for being able to alter the rod for your specific needs. Not to mention, you catch a fish on a rod you've built, and there are not many things that are more rewarding in the fishing industry.
Right.
Like, it feels good to be like, that's my rod.
I really like that. It's consistent across the board. I can build every bait casting rod with the same reel seat style and handle. So that when I palm my reel, because that's what I'm a big stickler on. It's like, when I grab that reel, I want it to feel the same every time. Regardless of what the rod is or whatever. Now, I might tweak something, like Adam likes for his cranking rods, a unique thing, a palming type reel seat. But for the most part, I want it to feel the same all the time. And that drives me nuts about some of these rod brands where it's like, well, this line has this reel seat and the next one up has that reel seat. I get why they do that, because not everybody likes the same thing. But I always like the same thing.
Yeah.
So I want all my stuff the same.
I think like with reel seats, one of the things that drives me nuts is when you've got an edge.
Yes.
and it's like you get a blister
Yeah.
or a bruise, and it's like I don't understand. Like I just want a smooth taper. Like I don't know why I've got to have an edge.
That's why I always, for the longest time now, when I've been building rods, it's a CRB without the trigger on it. I've been using that for a long time, and they no longer make it, and it's a bummer because
it was
I might have some of those.
It was, I think it's a CCT. It's this. They had an American Tackle one, and they had a CRB one.
I'll have to go look. I've got again. I've
It's
bought
CRB
so
one.
many
Takes the
spare.
insert.
Okay.
But so I was gonna say that there's
I think I have
there's
some.
not-
I'll check when I get home.
okay. There's not much of a better feeling. Like in San Diego here, we throw a 1 ounce Carolina rig. We call it a Bubba rig. Have been since the 80s. And I make a Bubba rig rod on the 8-foot flipping stick. And one of the best Carolina rig fishermen here says there is not a better Bubba rod than the one that I built. And
Yeah.
I built one for my dad. I built I think I built it for 6 different guys here, and they all agree there is not a better Bubba rig rod, and they all come to me for it. I think I probably built 12 of them now, and it's a cool thing to be like, Adam builds the best Carolina rig rod, the best Bubba rig rod in San Diego, and it's like, you nailed something like that. It's cool.
I've got a couple guys that the FP 936, and I cut it down to 7'6" because it's 7'9". They say that is the best Texas rig flipping and jig rod they've ever used, and that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing. I mean, I'll take like the FP 885, and I'll actually cut it down to about 7 foot, and I use it for frogs.
Really?
I like a short frog rod. I'm not like a super heavy guy. Actually, I like to keep my frog in the same place, so I prefer a shorter frog.
Yeah, I like 7.2. That's sort of my magic number, 7.2.
And you know how that's actually the result of having another company's frog rod that I broke the tip off of. And when I say shorten it down, I shorten it off the tip side.
The 885 you do?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So it's a short, really
that's
stiff.
stick.
But the I modeled that around a titled frog rod, meaning a rod that somebody said was a frog rod that I bought that I didn't like, and I didn't like it until I broke it off.
Was this rod blue?
Yeah.
I helped design that rod.
Well, it was a little long for me.
I like perfect
short
for walking a frog, though.
Well, that's
now you hurt his feelings.
I'm not. Yeah,
I don't care. They don't make it no more either. They changed it.
The point is, I modeled another rod after it.
Yeah.
After I broke that rod, and it's just a matter of being able to customize it.
That's something that when I show you what I'm looking at doing and what I've done with a lot of blanks, measuring them, I think you're going to be very interested in.
So what are you doing with this? Is this a new endeavor?
I'm not going to say on here.
Is this okay?
Not now. It's going to be like your.
Doesn't want to spill the beans on.
No, well, you didn't spill the beans on your whole new jig head for the.
Oh, I did.
You didn't say nothing. You didn't tell us what hook's in it or nothing. And I'm not going to let you now. It's too late.
I don't want to say it now.
Yeah. You can tell me later.
We'll do it on another episode.
Yeah.
You just got to send me some.
I can make that happen. All I have are prototypes right now. Production is the orders in. I don't have production ones.
I can help you. You get me the hooks. I can get some dice. We'll work on a little.
Well, I don't have a problem getting dice. You have special dice. It's turning into very coded talking right now.
Right?
I'm not sure what we're talking about anymore.
You got to be careful what you say.
Oh man, I think we should call it now.
Did I say something I shouldn't have said?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I'm stopping myself from saying.
No one's saying anything. That's the problem.
All right. It's the fishing industry. It's a tight knit community, and sometimes you can't say certain things.
See, we're back to coded talking. Now I don't know what we're talking again.
Talk.
Trying to understand what Kurt's talking about right now. And I'm like,
I know what he's talking about, but I won't say it.
You're
Either.
on the inside too, then.
Yeah. Well, I have a pretty good connection on hard to get dice baits, is what I was saying.
Oh, I know what your connection is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See?
Yeah.
I wasn't talking that much in code. You just weren't thinking.
I mean, Kurt, sometimes you're all over the place. I try not to go into your head.
Sometimes.
Yeah. There's a lot up there. You get
yeah.
lost in the world of Kurt, and it could be a long day.
Oh, dude.
Couldn't be.
All right.
We'll do another
Let's
rod
call
building
this one.
some other day, and
Yeah.
maybe some other stuff some other time.
I'm right down the road
Right.
whenever. This is fun. I love doing podcasts. To me, this is we'd be on the phone anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's how this started.
Shit. So, like, why not record?
That's exactly how this started.
Yeah. One night I'm ranting and raving about something that I'm in a mood about, and he's like, "We need to film this stuff." And he hasn't got me to go on a rant yet, but we got Kyle on a bit of a rant.
I was gonna. What do you get him on a rant about? Tournaments?
Being a tournament director.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not.
I didn't know. I think
he said the things that everybody thinks that most people won't say, which is great.
Yeah, he's great with it, and generally he does it in a well-worded, professional manner. Mm-hmm. So, like, I just have you put that out yet?
No, it's the next one,
Monday.
Okay, I'll have to watch it. I didn't know that the goal was to get Kurt on a rant because I think I could make that happen.
Well, we're at 2.5 hours now. And
no,
Kyle was much longer than that. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, we'll do a rant next time. You'll see if you can get me to go on a rant.
I think I can do it.
Just need a few more beers.
I don't think you can. I've got them stacked up here. What are you talking about?
You need a pre-game.
I'll bring the whiskey next time. I'll bring the bourbon next time.
There you go.
Oh, I could rant right now about how you didn't bring bourbon. That
you got to text me before I leave my house.
I texted you an hour before you needed to leave your house to come here.
You text me at 4:30. I picked the kids up at 3:30. Went right to my wife's office. You got to,
and you were still 15 minutes late.
That's because when I got to, as I was walking out the door, a fellow fishing buddy walked into my wife's office for a chiropractic adjustment, and then I was it was very rude for me just to leave.
I kindly asked you to stop.
You did
pick some up.
What's wrong with these? I didn't want to get something hard because then I got to drive home. I don't want to have to drive home after drinking a bunch of hazies. Plus, like I said last night, I slept like shit because I drank too many hazies, which was 2. Literally 2.
I just wanted to have a little bit of whiskey or
next
bourbon
time
with you.
I'll bring some good stuff.
Some good sipping bourbon would have been great.
Bring the bourbon.
I'll bring
some Miles Berghoff.
Yeah.
See, Miles. We'll do it again.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, where can they find you? You got Instagram, Matt Stefan Fishing, YouTube, Matt Stefan Fishing. You're Matt Stefan on Facebook.
Yeah.
Is it Stefan or Stefan?
Stefan.
Luke says it's Stefan.
I know he says that on purpose.
I'm gonna start calling you Stefan.
I call him Clauson.
Clauson. That's
Clauson.
good.
Oh man.
We have to get Luke on here with you sometime.
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
You want to get rants? We
could get Luke on a tirade real easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Let's plan it.
All right. Till next time.
Thank you for having me on.
No problem. We appreciate
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was a good time. All right. Hitting the button.
How you end this? Okay.
Peace.